Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between, yeah, it's all that. And we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
All right. We are here. We are late. I have continued to not learn this lesson in the 3 years of recording this podcast. Do not do a Windows update before we do this, because every time it does something to StreamYard and it won't work properly with my microphone. So, yeah, I've had to like completely reconnect, restart, but we are here. This is Grapsody.
Yes.
I'm Phil Lindsey. And of course, I'm here with Righteous Reg.
In the building, it's your boy, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Saturday morning, Grapsody podcast, Grapsody.BigCartel. If you're interested in this hat, very excited to be here Saturday morning. A lot of good wrestling this week, a lot of good stuff happening. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. Philip Lindsey having a couple of audio issues to try to, screw up the little morning. But, it's not going to take us down, Phil. I think we're good here.
Is audio working? Is it not working?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Why is it people in the chat are saying that there's audio issues?
Oh no.
I can't hear myself, so I can't tell what is the issue, if there is an issue.
I mean, it sounds like you're in a vacuum, but I can hear you.
Trying very hard to not be irate, but I'm like very, very annoyed. I don't know what's going on. Why is it not working? It was working fine before I came in here, and then it's not working.
Windows hates you, as you say. It's all Bill Gates' fault.
Okay. Does it still sound the same?
Yes. What are they saying in the? Probably should be in the chat. Just keep going. We're chilling. Yeah, we can hear him. It just sounds like he's in a vacuum. That's it. Vacuums are okay. They clean.
Okay. I don't know. This is the best I can do, guys. I don't know why the interface itself is not working. But yeah. And yeah, usually the audio comes out better because it's coming through the interface, but I'm trying to record straight through the USB because for whatever reason, I got on here and it wasn't working before. It wouldn't pick up the mic, but I could hear myself through the mic, and all of the audio and stuff worked fine. But then when you came in, it started staticking and it just stopped working altogether. I could hear you through the headphones. If I click the interface, I can hear myself coming through the microphone, but you just could not hear me. But I could hear everything. Like I thought maybe it was just like an issue with the interface. I unplugged it, plugged it back in, still didn't work. I don't know. Really, really irritating. I'm trying to move on from the fact that I'm very irritated by it. But again, Windows update. I wish Bill Gates, whoever the fuck, figure out how to update things where it doesn't make your hardware and everything stop fucking working when you update the software. I have to assume when you update things, it's supposed to help you, not hinder you. But here you are.
It feels like every update is the reverse.
Yeah. Fucking annoying. But whatever. We're not supposed to curse 11 minutes in, but who the fuck cares? Fucking annoying.
That's the type of time we on today. It's those Billy G's. It's Goldberg, Gates. Like I'm gonna start going on a Bret Hart tangent on Bill Gates.
Yeah. In other technology news, Elon Musk has seen fit to make Twitter a place where a lot of people don't want to be anymore. He has continued to make updates that are extremely annoying. Well, what are you going to do? This latest update where the block feature has changed, where you can still block people where they cannot access you or engage you, but they can still see your tweets, which negates the whole purpose
Yes.
of being able to block somebody. This all feels like a vanity thing where he probably one day found out, hey, I own this site and a bunch of people have me blocked. They can't see me tweets. Well, I'll fix them. I'll make them see my tweets. But in the process, you're giving a bunch of toxic people that are blocked for a reason access to you still. We still have a place where people do this weird thing where they stream your they screenshot your tweets anyway. I'll have people blocked and they're somehow still screenshotting my tweets.
Yeah.
But this is now going to encourage that kind of nonsense where people can't engage with your tweet, but they're just going to screenshot it and encourage other people to then dunk on you from their account because that's how these things work. In essence, over the last few days, I've seen a lot of people migrating other places, Threads or Blue Sky. I've been on Blue Sky since like the early launch of it. I just opened our Grapsody account on there. You want to follow us on there? Leave it grapsody.bsky.social. Of course, if you want to get ahead as well, grapsody.bigcartel.com.
Yeah, it's annoying, Phil. I had Elon blocked, so he probably I guess that played a part in it because I was like, I don't want to see this guy's tweets. He's spreading hate a lot of the times, anyways. This is might be the nail in the coffin. Like, people on Twitter were already like, hey, you should stop being on Twitter. Just not, they didn't say that, but just their actions made me do that. I've been on there a lot less. And so to know that it's already not been fun for a long time because people can't take jokes. People don't know how to handle anything on that site. And so for Elon to be like, oh, here's another thing that's going to make this site unbearable, I think I'm out, you guys. I'm going to have to go over to Blue Sky. I have a Blue Sky account. I have a Threads account. Y'all can find Righteous Reg over there. Check out some photos and some videos on Instagram because I think this is it. This is it's a joke at this point. He's just trying to use his power to, I don't know what he's trying to do, but the whole point of blocking is out of the window if they could just still do what they want with our tweets. Essentially, you can still retweet me if you screenshot me and quote tweet me and blah blah blah. So it's like, what's the point of this? I think I'm out for good. I don't. It's there's no point in this. It's not fun. They're making it terrible. The politics, everything. I'm out.
Yeah, I immediately saw with Blue Sky. I did this thing last night where I just tried something. I tweeted the same exact thing from both accounts, the Blue Sky account and my Twitter account, and boy, all the responses to tweets on there were still just as annoying as well. But if you go to Blue Sky and look at the same tweet, it's pretty peaceful. You can do something, just ask a simple question, and you're going to get all of these sarcastic, snarky responses on Twitter. But you don't get any of that on Blue Sky.
Wow, look at that. I guess I'm about to pull up to Blue Sky because this is yeah, I'm out. Also, I did download, people have been asking for a long time, Discord. I'm trying to get down with the Grapsody Discord, move forward with y'all homies over there. There's spaces for us to exist and communicate and still have the same kind of good conversations and things just off of Twitter. I think we're just moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know what the future of Twitter is. I'm not sure if I see a world where everybody migrates from Twitter to somewhere else anytime soon.
Right.
But I think it's at least good to start other accounts because it sure seems like this is getting worse and worse.
Why? This is crazy, man. I really don't understand how you could tank an entire social media thing. Like, that was my life existed on Twitter. Like, this podcast exists because of Twitter. Like, I get all kind of crazy opportunities because of Twitter. Like, Righteous Reg is Righteous Reg because of Twitter. And for him to just come on and change everything in like 2 years to where I'm like, I'm done with Twitter. How did we get here?
Yeah. Well, what can you do? Yeah. I don't have it in front of me to send you old nudie, but yeah, it is Grapsody dot bsky dot social on Blue Sky, and then when you go to that account, I've linked it to both of our accounts, so you can go when you add that account, it has a link to both of our accounts on there.
I haven't been on. I have to re-download the app because I was just like, let me get this off my phone. I don't think we're ever going to go to Blue Sky, but I think we're all going to Blue Sky.
Yeah, it's what it is. Yeah, I'm pretty simple to find. Same. Phil Lindsey on there, but yeah, not a great way to start. Send us your super chats. Send us your humper chats, of course. Been quite an interesting week. Did you see that De La all of a sudden put out a video for Oodles of O's?
I did see that. They are trying to pay tribute to Dave. They said that he always wanted to do a video for that song, so they finally got around to doing it, which I think is super dope. It's like a bittersweet type of thing when I see them now, because it's like, man, they got their music back, and it felt like we were gonna like move forward on some good energy and stuff, and then the Dave thing happened, and like they're back outside and like they're being celebrated, but it's just like in the back of our brain, it's just like true goy, man.
Yeah, very, very sad again to see them, and it's the same like seeing Tribe now without fighting, seeing them out and trying to do things and keeping their legacy alive. It's just it's tough. It's tough to see.
It's hip hop these days, man. Phil, I'm nervous to open up my phone these days because I'm like, another legend might be gone if I press something. The rapper this week, actually, shout out to Ka, rest in peace. What can hip hop has been in a stage. We come on this podcast all the time and pay tribute to rappers. He was all the rappers that I like today, Westside Gun, Rock Marciano, like Boldy, like all of those guys, they're like that guy. Kai was like, he is the definition of like a writing supreme rapper. Like when it comes to like bars, when it comes to what kind of the genre that we exist in is built off, he was like a leader of that. This guy was a first responder 9/11. Like I'm like, what kind of a wild ass story is this? First responder of 9/11, a pivotal rapper, and made a career off of kind of being unique and not following any trends, and still being prolific and still being one of those guys. I'm tired of it, honestly. I can't wake up to a 50-plus-year-old rapper passing away. It's like hip hop is still young. A lot of these rappers are the same age as hip hop, and them passing away is just, my brain can't comprehend it,
Yeah, tough. Rest in peace to Ka. Condolences to his loved ones and friends. It seems like he had a major impact on a lot of people. He saw how many people were speaking out on his behalf and praising his work and saying how much he inspired and influenced them. So, that is always the blessing in disguise with these kind of things, when a guy has had a career that he had and left a mark on people.
Yeah.
It's
just like, it's the same kind of thing as Doom. When Doom passed away, everybody was like, it was unexpected, and like, he's kind of mysterious. And like now, like this week, a lot of people have been listening to Ka's music and like discovering him, but it's like, if this would have happened a year ago, like things could have been different. So it's unfortunate, but it's also like cool that people are now going to be put onto him.
Yeah. I have just noticed, by the way, is this like a bit we're doing now where every week you wear a Grapsody hat and I wear somebody else's hat from their podcast or something else? It just didn't dawn on me, but
it's so funny because I was thinking when I put this on, I was like, Phil could potentially put on a Grapsody hat, but then I was thinking, no, I think he'll probably have somebody else's hat on. And lo and behold, shout out to our homie at Wrestle Rap. I need to get one of them hats too. Amelia, where you at? What's up with it?
Yeah, speaking of Doom, happy 25th birthday to Operation Doomsday. Wow. Anniversary of that came out October 19th, 1999. That is definitely the album that got me into Doom. That was my introduction to Doom. that Sade sample at the beginning for Operation Doomsday that gave us like the mixtape where people took all the Sade samples and put Doom over it. There's so many great things about that album that I think about all the time. That again, that's my introduction to Doom, and a lot of things I think of all the time, like the end of the record where he's like, "Thought the song was over, thought the song was over. We tricked you, we tricked you." Rest in peace to Doom, man. One of the greatest rappers ever, in my opinion. Think all the time about Doom just not being here, and it just feels weird.
Yeah, it's like he's another one where like all the rappers that I'm inspired by, they're all like Doom. Everybody's like Doom. Doom's the one. I'm a rapper because of him. I'm a rapper because, like, I hear that so often, and like it's sometimes like I'll go back and listen to Doom, and I'm like, damn, I'm like inspired. Like I listen to a lot of Doom now, but like back then I didn't, and so I'm like, damn, like a lot of stuff that I'm doing and talking about now is Doom shit, and it's like inadvertently just because he inspired all the people that inspired me. So like his legacy is crazy because he has some like classic, some of the best hip hop records of all time, and they're still being discovered. It's like you guys don't know like the mark and legacy that Doom left. 25 years, Phil. These years just keep going by. We keep having these crazy anniversaries where I'm like, yo, I remember where I was that day when I bought that album. I remember where I was when this happened. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's wild to think about Operation Doomsday being that old, but that was just kind of his introduction, not just to me, but to the world and the Doom character. And then he had that, of course, that boom period around 2002 or whenever that was, when he was on Adult Swim and everything. And then Mad Villainy album, of course, came out, and then he dropped a record with Danger Mouse as well, and he was out of here. And he dropped that was when Doom was really prevalent. But yeah, of course, rest in peace to Doom. Can't say enough.
That's when Doom was like, this is too much, you guys. Like, I'm outside, but I ain't trying to be outside like this.
I always feel like at some point Doom was like, I just kind of wanted to do some raps and do some weird stuff, and people ended up being into it.
Right. Because, you know, the infamous, eventually he got so huge where he was doing shows and he would send fake Doom out to rap in his place, allegedly.
Which is a very Dr. Doom thing to do, sending Doom bots out. And man, talk about a guy living the character.
I love that. They'll never be able to be a rapper ever again that does that, you know?
No, there'll never, ever be another MF Doom, man. You're never going to be able to copy his quirkiness. The record I was thinking about earlier was Rhymes Like Dimes, by the way, where he's at the end, and he's just throwing in random ad-libs. What do you say at the end of a song like this? I don't know. Yeah. Mashed potatoes, applesauce, buttery biscuits.
Like nobody could do that. Nobody could come on a record and do that and like get away with it.
Yeah, love Doom. He that's also the album where he sampled the Scooby-Doo record on Hey, and got other stuff like Gas Straws on there, The Finest. Great album. Classic album if you've never listened to it.
Man, I've definitely salsa danced to the Sade sample. Like, it's Sade, but it's also Doom. It's like, you can't, like, who would ever even think of doing this smooth shit? This is so funny. Yesterday, I got into an elevator with an older black dude. And so I'm like wearing like, you know, a button up shirt and like tucked in clothes like I've been wearing. And so he looks at me, he goes, "You a computer programmer?" And I'm like, no. And he goes, "Oh, because you look smart." And I'm like, what? And so I go, "No, actually, I'm a rapper." And he goes, "Oh, what?" He's all, "So you must be really interested in the Diddy story." I'm like, how did we move from
hold on?
Well, what happened? Like, I just said I was a rapper, and now all of a sudden I'm in Diddy. And so he starts to get into the Diddy thing, and I'm like, bro, I gotta go.
I gotta go. It's time for me to go home. What
I don't want any parts. Don't put me there. Why are you putting me in that?
What a segue. Let's get into some Diddy stuff. Like, whoa, hold on.
I wasn't trying to do this, dog. Wait, not all rappers are that. Like, the transition was crazy. Like, you're a smart computer programmer to you was down with Diddy. Wait, what?
Yeah. Just knowing my sense of humor, how I enjoy messing with people. If he would have hit me with that, you look smart. I'm like, nah, I'm not really that smart. I'm not really smart at all. Total high school dropout.
I was profiled. I think this guy called me a nerd.
Yeah, total
How am I
burnout.
gonna get on the elevator and you call me a nerd? Are you a computer programmer? You look like a nerd. That's crazy.
All the nerds as cool as you? Yes.
Yeah.
See, if you don't know that
I should have been
reference,
like, yeah, I am a computer programmer, fool.
yeah, if you don't know that reference, by the way, the reference to the great Lupe Fiasco mixtape, Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah, if you have not heard that one, another one, giving you game. Do your homework now. Go and listen to Doomsday and
do the knowledge, nigga. That one, Fredro Stark.
Oh man. But yeah, super chats, humper chats, you know the deal. Send us your super chats if you want to add to our conversation here, and send us your humper chats if you want to give us a bit more piece of the cut.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys as always. Have been super and humper chats. Appreciate everybody for being here on a beautiful Saturday morning. We're gonna get into a few of these super chats and humper chats and move forward. Arduit says, happy Grapster Day, y'all. To pair the line from SRS, Shelton Benjamin is who we thought he was. Holy shit. Also, I believe in BCC. Mox is right. Yo. Shelton Benjamin, you guys. Like, I mean, we all kind of knew. SRS will tell you that's his favorite wrestler of all time. We've known for a long time, 20 plus years, that this guy's an incredible talent. But to still do it at a super high level and to absolutely tear it down this week with Lio Rush, I'm blown away. Like, I knew he could do it, but just to see it, and I saw it live, Phil, was amazing.
Yeah, I think that was one of the dopest things about the last few days is seeing Shelton get his flowers both in that segment and in this match. Also, when he showed up and he got that huge pop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really cool to see. Really cool to see him be appreciated, man. It's cool to, like, because I know how a lot of fans feel about him, especially a lot of internet fans, but this guy's had an incredible career. His Ring of Honor stuff, his run as a tag team wrestler, the New Japan stuff, of course, the WWE stuff, you know, being on Raw, whichever, I think that was 2002? 2004 when he got drafted, and he had those great TV matches with Shawn Michaels.
One of the most used clips of all time of his springboard into the super kick. Like, I've seen that clip 5,000 times at this point.
Yes, sir. Walked so Adam Cole can run and do that spot with a bunch of people.
Yes. Shout out to Shelton, a gigantic human being. Oh my God, so giant. It's funny the contrast between him and Leo that like added to the match too, because it's like, damn, dude, Shelton's massive. That's what's super interesting about these WWE guys, because like Billy Gunn's the prime example of like Billy Gunn wasn't like the hugest guy in WWE because he was standing next to the Undertaker and Kane and Big Show and all these giant guys. But then you see him in AEW and he's the most giant guy in the whole company. And like that's the same kind of thing you see MVP and Shelton standing next to guys, and you're like, these guys are giants, and they were like not giants in the other company, you know?
Yeah, very big guy. Which, I mean, I already knew that, but I mean, yeah, when you see him against some of the smaller indie AEW guys, big difference.
Big boys. Arduit also says, and to answer, in my opinion, a question I've heard all week with who's going to be made from stepping to BCC, we already saw them. It's OC, DG, Private Party, Top Flight, AEW Originals who need a push finally.
Yeah, we're going to probably get into that more when we talk about this very divisive ending of the pay-per-view.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think they set up quite a few people to come out of this looking good.
Yeah, Arduit, the BCC. I think over time, I'll see if I agree with their little mission statement. But I'm liking what they're doing right now. I'm liking what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Grapple Geekery says, Saturday hobbies with Grapsody. Loved WrestleDream and Dynamite minus the learning tree. Big Bad Shell TB's debut was great. Updates do suck, Phil.
Updates aren't supposed to suck, man. Updates are supposed to enrich your experience. They're not supposed to make it worse.
Patrick says Phil cussing 11 minutes in means they really need super chats this week. Wrestling community on Blue Sky has been pretty non-toxic since I moved over there last year.
Appreciate you, Pat. Yeah, I'd be just, I was actually in a decent mood until I was trying to get this set up to work. But before that, I was doing pretty good.
Can't believe they trying to do your Saturday like that, man. That's crazy.
Always gotta be something.
Our homie Eloquent says, Ka forever. Rest in peace to the homie, man. It's crazy.
Rest in peace to Ka, man. Well, I just think about all the people we lost this year. Like, man, Dikembe Mutombo, like James Amos, like James Earl Jones.
Dog.
A lot of people, man. Yeah, I don't even know we talked that much about Mutombo on here, but rest in peace to Mutombo. One of the greatest defenders I've ever seen in basketball. A big part of one of my favorite teams outside the Bulls, the Sixers team with him and Iverson. Of course, our homie, he had a extensive time in Denver at one point. So yeah, no. Not gonna forget to talk about Dikembe Mutombo.
It's crazy, man. Like when they have that end of year thing where they recap all the people that passed away, it's gonna be an insane one. And especially with hip hop, it's been such a crazy contrast because we had a great year musically, and there's been some amazing moments, some of the best moments of all time. But then also we've lost a lot of greats and legends.
Yeah, Patrick. Liam Payne too, the kid from One Direction. That was crazy as well. Just the way it happened, I mean, he was just online streaming like an hour before he passed away to just nuts.
This life, man, it's tough. It's tough out there. Yeah. Tenruza says, guys, hope you're good. Young Thug has been out there this week. Spanish Drake, Shelton Benjamin, you are him. Batista is a true legend. Hashtag I walk for miles.
Yeah, Spanish Drake ain't for me, buddy. It's not for me. Thugger's out here. Thugger's he's an acquired taste.
What Drake doing, Phil? For reals?
It's cool, man. I don't know what it is, but it ain't for me, bro.
I get it. I understand, man. Like sounds. We've seen him do this. I don't. Yeah, you're right. We've seen him do this before, though, where he like, I want to get over here. I want to try this, but probably not the time. Like somebody should have been like, I don't think now is the time for this record, my dog.
Yeah.
Deontay Soigné says, wishing y'all love as always, Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. Cole is back in the building. That was definitely one of the highlights of this pay-per-view. Glad to see him back and doing well.
Alexander Fitzgerald says, I went to my first AEW pay-per-view, WrestleDream. That was the most fun I had at a wrestling show in years. That three-way match was wild. I think the match surpassed Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels.
High praise. Very high praise. But, I mean, this match was incredible.
I don't know if I could jump out that window yet. I'd have to watch it a few more times, but I hear a lot of people saying that this week.
Yeah.
Meltzer.
Miggity Melts. Miggity Meltzer was like, man, this is my field this week, and I was dying. I was like, hey, listen. He didn't get on TV and sit next to Vince with that mullet and sit through all of these scrums and all of this stuff for you to question him in his own field. This is his field, bro. Don't talk crazy about Meltzer.
Yeah, nah. That's real though. I always say, look, we out here because of Meltzer, man. Y'all better put some respect on my homie's name, dog. He pull out with the guns. He was with a woman this week on at Dynamite. I don't know if I could say that out loud. Like I might be putting Meltzer on what. I was like, is that Meltzer with a woman? Look at Meltzer pulling up with one.
Why are you putting Meltzer's business in these streets?
I'm sorry, Meltzer. I didn't know. I was just surprised. Like I usually don't ever like I seen him at a lot of shows and he usually don't pull up with one, but he pulled up with one.
Listen, this is his field. Y'all don't know. Listen, he might have to pull up and let y'all know that, he got a few, man. Listen, man, y'all got Melts fucked up, I guess.
Y'all got Melts fucked up, I think is what it is. Meltzer said, no, I think I got to let these niggas know.
Listen, man. They was talking crazy on his prediction about numbers. He told y'all what it was. This is his field, man.
This his field. That one clip of when Brian sneezes and Meltzer just like looks at his notes on the side. And Brian's like, "Yeah, thanks, man."
Not gonna cover any of this dead air. Nah, we're good.
Meltzer just stares at him for a minute, and then he looks like he's annoyed that Brian sneezes, and then he just looks off to the side. It's like, dog, you guys are doing something here, I think.
Yeah, that video is hilarious.
Meltzer's the funniest dude of all time. I want to be on a pod with Meltzer. Come on, Grapsody, Meltzer.
No, that would be hilarious. I did see him on Parts Unknown. He did a Survivor Series. Shout out to the homies over there. Seems like at one point, he was just running through those names. I was like, oh, he's about to. I don't know if I want to do trivia with Meltzer, man. He knows
Meltzer
too much.
got it.
I mean, he did not end up winning, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Wow. Can't never watch it now. It's crazy. Tenruz also says, Shaka, ain't nobody came on today. Swerve, please. I don't think it's happening. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened at All In.
Yeah, maybe one day. He's I mean, this Big Pressure record has turned into one of the ones for him. He might be all right.
It's so funny. I remember talking to him right before he came into AEW, because I did that interview with him, and talking about this song, and he was like, I want to get away from Shaka. He's like, I love Shaka. Like, that's a great part of my career, but I want to move away. And I was like, well, how are you going to move away? And then I remember that weekend we heard Big Pressure for the first time, and I was like, okay, I get you. And now it's like way out of here. And I'm like, oh, he was right. He really was right.
Hey, man. Sometimes you got to let them cook, man.
Van Twinblade says, if you say we for a Discord, drop the link unless you mean the Fightful one.
Yeah, I still am not in this Discord, which is funny because I'm in other Discords, but I'm just not in this one.
I should probably get in there. Man with Beard says, Reg, what did you think of the latest single from your favorite wrestling theme song band, Breaking Benjamin? Also, if you've never heard of Unity TX, check them out. Start with the come up Unity Texas, maybe. I haven't heard the new Breaking Benjamin single, but I definitely am going to pull it up. I just hadn't had times. I think the thing is about it, I don't really like singles, like the process of let me rephrase. I don't like hearing the songs before the complete album comes out. I like to hear it as a complete set. Like, I don't want to hear 3 songs before I hear the album, because I'm not as interested as the songs if I've heard them a bunch of times. I like to hear albums in complete, how the artist laid it out for them, just because it sounds better for me. I don't know. It's just a thing.
That's what the single's for. The single is to promote the album. It's to get you to buy the album.
I want the whole album. I don't want the song.
Okay.
Yeah, just not interested in that.
It's great. All right.
Yeah. I don't like it. Like when somebody like, here's a new song coming out for it, I'll wait till the album comes out. So
okay,
that's just me.
So like Kick Push came out, you were like, no, give me the album.
Yeah. Pretty
big single. But no, give me the album.
When Cole drops one, I don't listen to it. I'll wait till the album comes out.
This last Lucy, man,
I did listen to the last one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an album cut though. That's why.
No, I doubt that's gonna be on album.
Yeah. That's all of our super chats for now. Y'all are dope.
Yeah. Got Humper chats. Sure.
Humper chats. I was acting like Meltzer. I was like, damn, what Phil doing?
Yeah, I see where our Humper chats are starting. The topic is starting to get into. Before we get into that, get into some New Japan talk, because New Japan also had a pretty good pay-per-view this weekend.
Wow.
I was very excited for this pay-per-view. I almost want to say more excited for this pay-per-view. Not even almost. I was more excited for this pay-per-view. This is AEW pay-per-view. It just felt like this was going to be my guy's moment. And, buddy, let me tell you, it was. It was. If you've been here on this bandwagon with me since day one, we did it, guys.
Take your victory lap, man.
there were people that didn't believe at one point. I even was a little skeptical at one point. I was saying things like, I don't know, man. Come on, Gato. Do the right thing. But we're here. New Japan King of Pro Wrestling from Ryogoku, Tokyo, Japan, came to us this weekend, day after WrestleDream. So if you're people like me that don't sleep and just cramming a lot of wrestling, you had a lot of wrestling to watch this weekend. But yeah, opened with Hiromu taking on Mystico in a match that I was very much looking forward to. It wasn't exactly the match I thought we were going to get. It was a pretty quick sprint. It was only 8 minutes. But it felt like this was the teaser to a bigger match. It seems like they're building to a hair versus mask match at some point. Nice. So it made sense in the story that they're trying to tell, and this was the opening match. So usually New Japan, when they put something as their opening match, it's usually quick sprint. And so I knew that when it started, but it still felt very abrupt to me. But it was fun for what it was. We got, some wacky Hiromu stuff. There was a bunch of wackiness on this card that I'll get into in a few. Because, the New Japan, this was by somebody on Monday morning goes, New Japan is just a place where guys are really good at wrestling. I'm like, how much have you watched New Japan? Because we've got a guy that spits whiskey in people's faces. You got Toru Yano going around. You got the entirety of House of Torture, whatever their deal is. No, I have to say it's not just guys that are good with wrestling. Got the intergalactic Jet Setters taking on the War Dogs for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championships. Story going into this, of course, is that the War Dogs, Clark Connor and Drilla Maloney, have been holding the title since February, going on almost 300 days as champions. I believe they got up to 263 days. But the Jet Setters, them guys, Kushida and Kevin Knight, picked up the win. They are the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions. This was a very fun match. Kind of a surprising outcome to me because I assumed that I thought that the War Dogs were going to hold the belts all the way into the Junior Tag League, but this is where we are. I think it's dope now. 2-time champions, Kushida and Kevin Knight. Shout out to them. Kevin Knight was doing some shenanigans on Twitter. Very funny to watch.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Kevin Knight, man. It's not easy to win a championship in New Japan. So to be able to accomplish that, to be able to stand next to Kushida, a legendary figure in New Japan, and do it too, I think is amazing, man. He's not even close to being in his prime yet, so this is awesome.
Yeah, I thought that this was a fun match. A lot of the highlights of this match were how good Kevin Knight looked. Man, incredible athlete. His dive he's doing, his incredible drop kick, just an incredibly fun guy to watch wrestle.
I like, how do you jump that high?
Guy's got springs in his shoes, man. Next up we had IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. TMDK took on Rogue Army, Bad Luck Fale, and Caveman Ugg. Very odd matchup of talent here. But if you don't know who Caveman Ugg is, he came out and he got like some devastating power moves in. He had this big kick into the corner that looked like death. Can't say that I or anybody else probably assumed that him and Fale were going to pick up the win here, but it was good for what it was. Of course, TMDK retained their belts. Got for the never open weight title, Shingo Takagi taking on newly returned Ryohei Oiwa. A lot of excitement was coming in to see what Oya was going to come look like out of his excursion. Of course, he took his excursion to Pro Wrestling Noah, and he came back and joined TMDK. What a pickup for Zack and TMDK, because this guy looks like he has a bright future. This match was very, very good. We already know that Shingo is Shingo. He's going to have the great matches, but Oiwa, man, he looked fantastic. This is a guy that it looks like they can do a lot with this guy. He's got a ton of potential. I don't know where the future is for this guy, but he looked fantastic.
That is still one thing that New Japan is kind of leading the wrestling industry is excursions. Anytime somebody goes on an excursion, they always have them in a place where they know that their game's going to be up and they come back a way better wrestler. It's like wrestling in general and WWE and AEW everywhere, they should be sending young wrestlers on excursions just because it brings them back so much better. I mean, like, look at what Anna Jay's doing in AEW. Like, there's so many talented people that if they were given the opportunity to go to Japan or to Mexico or to the US from, international talent, they'd get so much more knowledge and become way better wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into some other talks with excursions later. But, yeah, very strong match like I expected. Shingo picked up the win in his first title defense here. Then we had triple threat for the New Japan World Television Championship. Ren Narita take on Jeff Cobb and Yota Tsuji. This was a solid match. There was a lot of stuff here between Tsuji and Jeff Cobb that was a lot of fun. At one point, Tsuji tried to hit Cobb with the Gene Blaster out of the corner, and Cobb snatched him up, hit him with this clean Toward Island. Absolutely fire. Tsuji continued to be extremely impressive. Jeff Cobb was a great champion. But Ren Narita is your new New Japan World Television Champion. I like Ren Narita. I like Ren Narita, man, but this House of Torture stuff and this whole bit that he's doing with them, it is just not for me.
House of Torture, baby.
He went to hit Jeff Cobb with a low blow at one point, and Jeff Cobb caught him, pulls him up, and it looked like he was going to hit him with the Tour of Violence. He slinked out behind him and snuck in the corner and got that old trusty push-up bar and hit Jeff Cobb, then hit him with the old face buster. He does the X buster like X-Pac used to do now. Yeah. I was having fun with Jeff Cobb as champion, but here we are. Ren Narita is your new New Japan World Television Champion. If you ask me, out of the Reiwa Three Musketeers, which of those three guys were going to end up winning a singles title and being in a decent place, I would not have picked Ren Narita, but this is where we are. Go figure. We got to, again, getting into the wackiness of the show. We got 6 men after this. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shota Umino, and El Fantasma showed up in the crowd in Roman gear, which was very, very funny. Tanahashi is the most unserious guy.
Definitely.
They took him on House of Torture, which you would expect. It was pretty much a House of Torture match. But the babyfaces picked up the win here as a culmination of all of the stuff with Shota Umino from earlier this year and the stuff from the G1. After the match, Tanahashi made a pretty big announcement. He announced that he will be retiring from professional wrestling soon. His last match will be January 4th, 2026. So we officially have another year of the ace. But his retirement tour is starting soon. During the match, he was favoring his knees quite a bit. And watching that, I was like, boy, it hurts to see him like this, man.
Hurts.
So it kind of feels like it's time, but also, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what New Japan is like without Tanahashi there. It's just like I was thinking last year, or earlier this year, when I was like, what is this company like without Okada? So we're going to find out soon. We have another year, but man, so many guys that were a big fixture in their companies are retiring, and it's just weird to think about. Like, I still haven't wrapped my head around John Cena retiring.
Right. This year, these coming up year is going to be crazy. I'm imagining in a year a New Japan show without Tanahashi or Okada on it. That just sounds like wild. Like, I thought we were going to be seeing this for 20 more years at this point, at least one of them on the card. So it's shocking, but it's also cool because, when they announce these cool kind of tours, like kind of how Keiji Muto, Great Muta had, they announce all these crazy great matches because they want to pay tribute to the wrestler. So I'm sure we're going to see some pretty amazing stuff in the next year with Tanahashi.
Yeah, I would assume as much. It kind of feels like I skipped a match. Did I skip a match? No, I didn't. I got the match. We got next up Doki taking on Sho. more House of Torture nonsense. But I actually really like this. Show came out, his music hit, and you think he's gonna come out and just do his entrance, and his music hits. It's like a pause, like where's this guy? And then he starts dragging Doki out behind him. He's beating Doki up and dragging him to the ring throughout his entire entrance. He gets him in the ring, rips off his mask, and he's got like kind of like the Jushin Thunder Liger alter ego kind of makeup under it, and he hits Show with the miss, hits him with his finisher. That's it. Beats him in 19 seconds. I thought this was fun for what it was. It was quick and to the point. I kind of hate where Show is because Show is an extremely talented junior heavyweight. And at one point, it felt like, man, the sky's the limit for this guy. There's so much you can do with him. But I thought that this was very fun for what it is. I thought the whole alter ego for Doki was great. Afterwards, Kanemaru came out and jumped Doki from behind, started hitting him with a chair, and we got the return of Master Wato. He is back. Seems like they're now building to Wato versus Doki. Looking forward to that match. Should be a lot of fun. Then we
Phil? Hello? Maybe I'm the one. Anybody there? Phil, where are you? New Japan. Zack Sabre Jr. But then what? How did Zack win? We'll never know, you guys. Oh yeah, so I guess I don't know where Phil is. Too high for this. Way too high for this. I'm like, is this a show? Wait, I'm on this show. It's crazy. Phil, we need help. Oh no, he's gone for good. This is crazy, you guys. I can't. Like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know. I've never been on this show before. It's my first time. What about you guys? What do you guys think? This is crazy. I'm tired of technical issues. They suck. We don't have time for this. I thought I was going to be the one with technical issues today, but I'm not. It's Phil. I'm just going to keep talking. What if I just like read a super chat? That'll totally work. Wait, what was that noise? Okay, Alexander Fitzgerald says, y'all got to get Meltzer on Grapsody and ask him his favorite mixtape is. Be hilarious if he was a hip hop guru. Meltzer, I'd like to know what Meltzer's playlist is. I feel like he probably listens to like maybe like Frank Sinatra records. Like he plays Frank Sinatra real loud while he's doing his thing, or maybe like 80s hair metal, or like, you know, Quiet Riot. Like he probably listens to Quiet Riot really loud while he's doing The Observer. But I am interested to see what hip hop he knows, because when he talks about it in his when there's a thing that happens on the show that's hip hop, he never understands it. Hey Phil, what's up?
Yeah, great day for technology. Whatever. Everything is fine. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. It just like completely kicked me out. But whatever. Yeah, we had the semi-main event, penultimate to the main event. David Finlay took on Hirooki Goto, and oh boy, is it lagging?
A little bit.
Hold on. It is lagging.
Your computer hates you today. Wait, you're still there? No? Yes? Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just lagging.
I don't know why it's lagging. Whatever. Yeah, this is whatever. David Finlay took on Hirooki Goto for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. The build for this match had been pretty much Goto brought his kids for one of his last G1 Climax matches, and Whatever.
I think you're still here.
Because it keeps, like, I don't know, it's lagging, but that's fine. The story here has been Goto brought his kids to one of his last matches for the G1 Climax. That became a story where, of course, Finlay, as a heel, took this chance to needle Goto every chance he gets. He has a great line in the video package where he says, look, I was inspired by my dad too. I looked up to him as well. I went to all those matches. I loved my dad. At some point, they're gonna have to figure out though that their dad couldn't win a world championship just like mine, and at some point they're gonna have to accept that their dad's a failure, which is absolutely nuts. Not just to say to kids, but it's nuts to say when your dad is Fit Finlay, like
right. Like you put that on your dad.
Insane, but yeah, this match was very good. I have been saying since the G1, well, actually longer, since Wrestle Kingdom at least, that hey, maybe I was wrong about this David Finlay guy. I am fully in the belief of it's okay. I was wrong about this. This guy's been cooking. He's been having great matches. His heel work has been great. His promo work has been great. I think it was just ripping his Band-Aid off at one point of him being the replacement for Jay White. And a lot of people were very skeptical because Jay White was a fantastic leader. And so following him up with Finlay is kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy fits the bill here, but this year he's been great. He's been really, really great. He was great in this match. Using all the heel tactics to get that crowd more excited for Goto. When it looked like Goto could win this match, that crowd was very much into it. But David Finlay picked up the win here. Not really a shocking win, but a very abrupt end to the match where he just immediately picked up the win on him, and then he proceeded to stare down his kids and talk trash to them on the way out.
Diabolical.
Wrestling. After this, he got on the mic and he continued to run down Goto. Started run down Yuya Uemura a little bit. Yuya Uemura, of course, is out on an injury. Hopefully he's doing well. But in response to that, Taichi came out. Seems like Taichi is going to be his next opponent for the Global Championship. But then got the main event, part of the show that I was the most looking forward to, part that I'm sure most people are looking forward to. Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, it just felt like magical at that moment, just like when they were showing all the stuff of him winning the G1, him talking about how it was risky to not want to wait until the Dome, but he wanted to be the guy to beat him here and take that belt back to his home country and defend it at Royal Quest. And he bet on himself, and that guy picked up the big W. Zack Sabre Jr. is your new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I thought this was a very, very good match. All of the people that continue to say that Naito is washed had a pretty great match here with Zack Sabre Jr. Seems like it depends on the dance partner sometimes. This guy has, given his blood, sweat, and tears to this company, though. And every time they need him to have this kind of match where he puts somebody else over, he gets to it, man. And I thought Naito was fantastic here. Some of the counters that he pulled off were great. I love the idea of Zack Sabre Jr. not just going from this thing that made him very popular in the West in the Cruiserweight Championship, but going to Japan, and how a lot of people see going to Japan as like this excursion or stepping stone for a wrestler, and then they come back and they do what they really want to do. No, this is his home. I think he's officially a legal Japanese citizen. He speaks fluent Japanese. This is where he always wanted to be, and it just feels like earned, man. It's just so many things about this that feel earned. Almost 48 hours before this, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time that passed the torch to him and said that he's the best technical wrestler in the world, officially retired from full-time competition 48 hours later. this guy wins the championship, biggest win of his career, officially not just the best technical wrestler in the world, but he has claim to the best wrestler in Japan at the moment because he is standing on top of the mountain holding the belt.
Yeah, this is wild, man. When you initially talked about him challenging at King of Pro Wrestling instead of Wrestle Kingdom, I was like, that's interesting. I don't know what that means, but them added in him wanting to defend it at Royal Quest kind of up the ante a little bit. So this felt pretty good. This felt magical, like you're saying. This felt like this was going to be the moment. And for it to actually be the moment, Zack Sabre Jr., who, like you said, didn't use New Japan as a stepping stone. He wants to be the best New Japan wrestler of all time. He wants to break all the New Japan records. He wants to be the king of New Japan. He's not using this to try to go to WWE or AEW, which he definitely can at any moment if he wanted to. He's gonna carry the flag for New Japan, and I think doing it like this kind of sets a different precedence because we need to kind of establish some new rules, some new things in New Japan. It doesn't want to all feel like it's just by the books, like, oh, it's time to get to Wrestle Kingdom. This person wins and then this person challenges it. If Zack Sabre kind of changes it up a little bit because he's a different thing in New Japan and makes sense, I think it's moving forward going to be great for the stories and the things that they could do with the G1 winner and how Wrestle Kingdom can play out for the rest of the years.
Yeah, I'm very curious now because after the match, we got some more stuff to set up his next few opponents. But I'm very curious now what he's going to be doing at Wrestle Kingdom, what he's going to be doing at the Dome.
Right.
The idea of our guy going into the Dome as champion, very excited about that. Very excited about him going home with that belt as well. But, man, just really, really happy for him. Just well-deserved. Can't say enough how well-deserved. When you see how many other wrestlers were tweeting or saying, man, how happy they were for him, how proud they were of him.
Yep.
It just goes to show just like how much he's been working towards this moment for so long. Man, really, really well deserved. Just how crazy life is. I think I told the story here where I saw this guy in New York and I was like, man, it's time. I'm ready for you to hold that big belt. I'm ready for you to get that big win. I'm ready for you to go into that Dome as champion. And here we are. It's really happening. It's wild to think about, but it's really happening.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I was like, dog, I think he's going to do it. And he actually did it. It's wild. Yeah, thinking of Zack Sabre Jr. in an epic Wrestle Kingdom main event as the IWGP World Champion sounds insane. Like, imagine what he could do with anybody. That's going to be incredible. But yeah, shout out to Zack Sabre Jr. Well deserved. He's fought for so long. He was the skinny kid that couldn't get booked. Then he was trying to be the best technical wrestler in the world while Bryan Danielson was overshadowed over him. He beat Bryan Danielson, became the best technical wrestler in the world, and now he's the IWGP World Champion. What a journey for him.
Yeah, what a journey. Very excited. Just so many things like that night of the G1 where he beat Naito and he ran in the crowd and he was holding that belt over his shoulder. Now, very iconic image, and at the time I was like, it's happening, man. He's going to win. And there were people at the time like, he's winning too many matches. This is how the G1 happens. You come in and you win all your first few matches, you usually lose. I'm like, no, don't jinx this. And won the G1, ran in the crowd, celebrating in the crowd. I was like, it might be coming home. It might be all right. We're doing this. Watching him run in that crowd with the belt, I was like, we're really here, baby. He really, really won. Yeah, love to see it. Afterwards, we got Shingo Takagi coming out. It seems like he is... before Shingo came out, Sonata came out to... tease their upcoming match at Royal Quest, which is October 20th. Then we got Shingo Takagi that came out and he challenged as well. Then we got Shota Umino, and people were not happy to see Shota Umino. I was not expecting this, but Shota got booed. And it's kind of a testament to where Shota has been this year. I think people want to like Shota, and when you put so much high expectations on someone straight away by saying that they're this generation's Three Musketeer, and they've pushed him the way they have, and he's had some of these performances and these House of Torture matches, and man, it's tough to watch. I think he is long overdue. Not just a presentation change, but just a change in character and everything. It just feels like he needs a reset because, I don't think that Shota is a bad wrestler. I don't even think that, again, the crowds don't want to like him. I just think it's one of those things where in this current iteration of him, people are not into it.
Right. Yeah, it seems like he needs... I don't want to say there's something missing. Like I get what he's trying to do in the character he's trying to portray, but it's like there's a little bit of piece that's not connecting with the fans and not connecting when his matches happen. So I kind of understand the sentiment. I still think he needs something, adversity. Like he needs to climb a mountain before starting to challenge Zack Sabre Jr. I think is the issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was New Japan, King of Pro Wrestling. Pretty good show, pretty concise show. Right result to end the show, right outcome. Some good stuff to look forward to with the Junior Tag League coming up. Some good matches to come up. Immediately makes me think but Wrestle Kingdom is going to be here before we know it. October is going to be over before we know it. And wonder what a lot of these wrestlers are going to end up doing now at the Dome. What is Naito going to do at the Dome? Now that you've told us this is Tanahashi's retirement tour, what is the Tanahashi match going to be this year? A lot to think about.
And now we got that the AEW versus New Japan show that happens immediately after that. Like, what role are they going to play? The Young Bucks were announced on this show, weren't they, Phil?
That's right. I forgot about that part. There was a vignette that played for the Young Bucks to announce that they will be a part of Wrestle Dynasty. They are going to be in the Dome next year. I was very surprised by the reaction to this. I just thought when you think about New Japan and the Bucks, and just that was their bread and butter. That was part of what put them on the map. And the reaction to this was very tepid, to say the least. And I think it's a testament to just what they're doing as characters. I just think people are just not into it.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like this, they built their legacy, in the Dome, built their legacy in New Japan. And like, if this video happened 4 or 5 years ago, the same thing, this reaction would have been much different. It was like, what is going on here? Like, I keep getting confused by Young Bucks stuff because like, they can still do it. We see it in all the matches. They're still the Young Bucks, but something else has disconnected a lot of fans from them, and it's unfortunate. Also, that vignette was like, the way that they produced it was kind of weird. There was like 30 seconds after they talked where they just stood there and looked into the camera, and it was like, well, what's going on? We'll see you at the Dome. And then they just like...
Yeah, I think they were standing there to wait for, I guess, a reaction. I don't know. It was very strange, but I almost wondered at one point when it was playing, I was like, can the crowd hear it, or are the crowd watching the same vignette we're watching? It was strange. Really strange. But yeah, that was New Japan, King of Pro Wrestling. We're gonna get into some Humper chats and some more super chats in a second. Before we do that, I'm going to hit you guys with a word from our sponsors.
BetOnline.AG is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.AG. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline.AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.AG, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
BetOnline.AG. Get your betting needs in.
Betting needs.
I was like, I don't know where Phil is. I think you're here. Maybe.
What's going on? Boy, when I tell you this.
I think you're back. Possibly. Can you hear me? Phil? Hello? Okay, I'm going to let Phil figure out his thing, and I'm going to read the super chat. Ten Reasons says, Phil is Meltzer this week. Mike in hand, just needs a stack of papers and a 90s 2000 computer. Super pumped about AEW, Omega, Cope, Kingston. Hope they get well soon.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Is it fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it lagging?
It sounds better.
What's it doing?
Doesn't feel like it's lagging as much. Maybe?
I don't know. I can't tell. I was trying to wait, but it seems like it's fine. I don't know.
Just one of those days, Monica. 1994.
Yeah.
That's all of our super chats.
Yeah, we got Humper chats. Get into from Tony P. He says, so we can all agree Slimy Bastard Yuta is the Petty of the Week winner. Called it last week saying he was going to screw Brian for doing them. Yes, chance as he was dying from internal bleeding. You were absolutely right about that. I thought maybe they're going to keep this guy babyface that had something good going with it, and here we are.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were going to go with moving forward with Yuta kind of fighting on Team AEW against the BCC because I thought that him as a babyface maybe has more legs. But seeing what he did this week, I was like, maybe not. This is probably going to lead to a bigger Yuta babyface run in the long run, I think, anyways.
Yeah, I think it was the right move in the long run. But yeah, damn Yuta.
Coming out in the Danielson gear on Dynamite, I'm like, you fool. How you going to do this, Yuta? Come on.
Nasty work, Yuta. Nasty work. See more from Tony P. He says, however, not only did I not see him killing Brian, but I didn't see him stealing his whole flow from the way he dressed to his psycho knee. He needs to keep going and call himself the new American Dragon. I actually think that would be fire. I think if he started calling himself like the real American Dragon or something like that, there's some weight to that.
No, yeah, like I'm not mad at it. I think Yuta kind of been like, you taught me all this stuff. Now I'm going to take it and do it better than you. I think it's a really good angle for him. He's going to need to kind of establish himself as something else because he has such strong personalities in his group. So I think kind of doing this real American Dragon or I'm the new American Dragon could really have some legs to it.
Yeah. But yeah, since got into some happenings from AEW WrestleDream, probably a good place to get in there. AEW WrestleDream came to Saturday at the Tacoma Dome. Pretty good show. It didn't seem like it had one of those moments where I think with current AEW pay-per-views, a lot of them run long, and at points it feels like they'll drag a little bit. I thought this one didn't have any real low points. I thought that this
No
stayed
drag.
strong throughout the show.
Yeah, even with the our homie in the Learning Tree Chris Jericho match, which people usually are turned off about, I thought this match was pretty good on this show, especially with the placement. Yeah, I think this was a really good. They had a really good flow. It really went with the kind of theme of WrestleDream. You know what I mean? Like this is some wrestling ass matches on this show.
Yeah, for sure. Started out with the 0 hour matches. Brian Cage beat Atlantis Jr. I don't really understand why they put the belt on Atlantis Jr. for that little bit of time, because it really went nowhere. But here we are. Brian Cage is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion.
I thought they were gonna make more noise. Like I thought it was gonna be like every week we're gonna see Atlantis like on CMLL like defending it or some clips or something, but it really wasn't that. I think it was more for like the moment that it had happened. And again, they AEW, Phil, they're driving me insane with this thing. They gave Brian Cage the Ring of Honor Television Championship, and then on Dynamite, Don Callis is like, I want these guys to challenge for the tag team championships. I'm like, why do they always do this thing where they give someone a Ring of Honor championship belt and then immediately after say they're going to challenge for a different championship?
I hate it. I hate it so much.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Anna Jay took on Harley Cameron next in a singles match. I think we both talked a lot about how Harley is, man, she has improved rapidly. I think she's been a very entertaining addition to the women's division. Her comedy is hitting, and man, the matches are getting better and better. I thought Anna Jay showed a lot of real improvement from her stardom run. You can see it in just like very small things in what she does. I thought this was a strong match for what we got.
Dog, Harley Cameron, I don't like. She's becoming one of the best characters in AEW. Like her promos are always hella funny. She always comes with one like funny as hell one-liner, and she was really excelling in that. But since she's been wrestling, dog, like every match she gets better. She's a really great kind of like heel opponent to whoever she plays with, because she's playing up the crowd. She's like in the camera. She's doing bits. Like she like is a really good pro wrestler, man. I'm surprised every time I see a match of hers.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stop being surprised after a minute.
I think so. And Anna Jay, dog, the stardom, she wasn't even there for that long, and man, she took everything in like a sponge, because she's a completely different wrestler, dog. She understands spacing. She understands when to play to the crowd, how to hit like everything is way better. She's a night and day wrestler, it feels like.
Yeah, we got we got the Acclaimed taking on MXM Collection. Did not expect to see Rico in wrestling in 2024, but here we are. Rico is did I say correctly? Rico is like close to 60s?
63.
63. He looks great for 63.
He does, yeah. Nah, I didn't believe it. I had to look it up and ask around. I'm like, no, Rico's 63. I'm like, what, dog? This is insane. Yeah, he looks great, dog. First of all, we got to tell Billy Gunn, like, we can hear you when you say stuff, because Billy Gunn be dog. One point, he's like, suck my dick, like so loud, Phil. I'm like, yo, we can hear that, big dog.
You said it so loud. I was like, dude, I don't think you can do that. I think the whole point of starting to do the suck it chants and the cross chops is so that you didn't say that loud on TV.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
He said it very, very loud. He did it in a match with Julia Hart once. And I was like, I don't think you should do that. Like,
I've heard him say like fuck, it feels like he'd be like, motherfucker. I'm like, dog, we can it's getting picked up, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea of Mason and Mansoor going and getting Rico to troll Billy Gunn. I think that was very funny. When they showed them in the segment before the match, and he did the turnaround like Joe Hendry, I died laughing. Like, I legit cackled because I was not expecting that at all.
It was just a one-off, but it really felt like he felt a part of the group. Like, damn, he fit right in immediately with the touching tips and all that. I'm like, man, this is hella funny. But yeah, Rico looked great. I love that Mason Mansoor getting these opportunities. Acclaim again, just still over. They just won't stop being over.
Yeah, still very much over. Every time you give them the pay-per-view matches, the crowd reacts to them.
Yeah.
I keep saying maybe split these guys up or do something different, but the crowd still really likes these guys. I don't know.
We got kind of a tease this week. Some Hurt Syndicate talks, and they handed a card over to Max Caster. So I don't know where this is leading, but I'm very interested.
Yeah, very interested to see where this goes. This match was what it was. Got the conglomeration in an 8-man match against the Dark Order and Premier Athletes. This is pretty much what you'd expect out of these big multi-man matches. It was fun for what it was.
This was get all the homies on the card that are laying around, but that have been working and deserve to be on the card match. So I'm not mad at it. Just a fun 8-man to get the crowd, let them see some of their favorite guys before we get into the pay-per-view. Nothing offensive about it at all.
Yeah, pretty much. But we opened with Jay White taking on Hangman Adam Page. Man, this match was so good. I hope that this reminded people that Jay White is a big match wrestler. You have to book him like a big match wrestler because, man, this guy, man, he just does so many great things. His counter wrestling, that inventive like knee spot that he did on the outside. And Hangman is Hangman. Like, I mean, we know Hangman at this point, but man, Jay White, man, he might have to push this guy in 2024, man, in 2025 rather, because 2024 is about to be over.
I love this finish. The buckshot lariat right into the Blade Runner, dog. I yelled, I screamed, insane. That plays right into what Phil's saying. Like, Jay White, big match wrestler, one of the most insane counter wrestlers in all of wrestling. If you give him the moment, put a mic in his hand, let him sell this match, and then give this guy some time with an incredible talent like Adam Page, you're going out of here. Hangman is on another level. Hangman is like, we talk a lot about world champions and who's next up and Ospreay and all these people, and it's like Hangman is gonna force us a hand, I think, at this point, because he's doing some crazy work. He's becoming undeniable. Like, oh no, I think you guys maybe have to strap Hangman up because this is crazy. I'm like, everybody keep talking about all these heels in the company and Jack Perry's doing and what BCC's doing. I'm like, but Hangman is really doing it better than all of them. I think he's my favorite heel in the company right now.
Yeah. By far the most interesting character in the company. Every time you give him big matches, every time you give him good dance partners, he delivers. Go figure. One of the first guys in the company that Brian made a point of putting over, and he's still him, guys. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He still looks great. He came out of this Swerve feud looking even better. Man, yeah, like you might have to have a conversation at some point next year about giving this guy another world title run because he's been incredible.
Like, I was like thinking like they could probably wait like 2 years. Like earlier this year, I was like, Hangman could probably sit in the wings and he'll be fine. But no, dog. He came back and said, no, I'm going to force you guys to put this championship on me because I'm going to be the best character. I'm going to be the hottest heel in the company. It's a long list of incredibly talented people who are next up, but Hangman is going to force their hand, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as good as the stuff he's doing is right now, when he eventually turns face again, he's gonna be out of here, bro.
Way out.
I mean, it feels like
Babyface Hangman's gonna be the number one wrestler in the company for sure.
Yeah, we got Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale up next for the AEW Women's World Championship. Sorry, man, I said at one point on Twitter, man, Willow's resume of pay-per-view matches in 2024, man, she has really delivered this year. The Double or Nothing match with Mercedes, the street fight at All Out with Statlander, and then this match, really good match. Mariah's another one where I think even if you're not the highest on the way they're using her sometimes on weekly television, she still delivers in these big matches. Yeah. When you give her the pay-per-view matches, man, she delivers.
Yo, Mariah turns into old stardom Mariah, and she's just like, oh, we're in a fight here. Like, I'm the champion, yeah, and I'm the glamorous, I'm all of that stuff. But when the bell rings, like, I'm gonna try to kill you. And like, she's vicious, dude. This match was so much fun. Just like these two women beating the crap out of each other, doing crazy slams, like working a Japanese style match. Willow's resume, like you said, has been insane. Some of the best women's matches of the year. She's been in them. She's a big match wrestler. We've established that. Like when the crowd gets behind her and she's on her shit and she's pouncing and she's power bombing, like there's not a lot of people in the world that are like that. But Mariah, man, like I love that against adversity, she like just really shows that she's a big star and that she can hang with anybody in the ring. This was a really, really fun match on a card of like the craziest shit you're gonna see. These ladies held their own by far.
Yeah, I know coming into it, it seemed like we were getting a Mercedes match. She was on all the promotional material for the show. When you pull it up on Triller TV, she's on the poster for it. And so she did the backstage segment that set up the match that we got on Dynamite, but I was like, that was an interesting choice to have her on all the promotional material but not have a match. And also, I knew we were going to be in for the discourse of just one women's match on the pay-per-view. And the women's match we got was absolute fire. I think it was one of the best matches of the night. This is the second time I've come away from an AEW pay-per-view feeling like the women possibly had the best match of the night. And
with Willow in it.
It's the second time there was a Willow match. She's been absolutely killing it.
Willow's crazy, dog. She keeps getting these opportunities and excelling, and I'm like, man, she don't miss. As someone who knew off rip, like the initial podcast Will and I did wrestling with Will on Saturdays. He's like, "Who's next up?" I was like, "Willow Nightingale's the one, dude. There's no undeniable. The first time I ever saw her, I knew that she was going to be in this position. So nothing ever surprises me with her."
Great match. I think that both of them came out of this looking good. I do think at some point you got to stop beating Willow and give her the big W. I don't know when that is. I don't know if we're going back to the Mercedes feud eventually, but you got to give her the big win eventually.
It's I think they have other ways to give her a big opportunity and put her in position. I'm not mad at them kind of continuously having non-title women's feud still. So like if she can kind of establish that and there's a brand or a division of women that are kind of doing that, I'm interested in it. But yeah, she still needs to get a big win here soon.
Yeah, for sure. We got Jack Perry taking on Katsuyori Shibata. This was pretty much, by the numbers. I thought it was a solid match. But coming after that women's match, it was gonna be tough to top that.
One.
But I thought this was strong. I mean, Shibata. This was a Shibata style match in some ways. Jack Perry continues to show that good wrestler. I just think that every time we have kind of these Jack conversations, it's kind of like I just want more than what we're doing with the character. I just want you to develop this character some more because it seems like it's there. The promo stuff is good. He can wrestle. We all know that. But just continuing to give him these matches at the pay-per-view where you put him against an opponent he's going to beat, and it doesn't feel like there's any drama here. It doesn't feel like there's a real rivalry yet that he can sink his teeth in. So I hope the stuff after this match is proof that that's going to change coming into the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, this was fine. Like I liked it. It's Shibata. Shibata forced him into a Shibata match, like you said, was chopping him, kicking him, forcing him into one of those strong style matches. Jack Perry, again, we could talk for 5 hours about the Jack Perry conundrum and what's going on here. Like sometimes I think he should just go back to Jungle Boy because like this guy used to elicit emotions like nobody else as a baby face and make crowds go nuts for just being a worker. And like it doesn't feel like that part exists in his wrestling in the wrestling matches anymore because he's doing the heel thing. Like he's still a really good worker. Like he still can do the matches, but there's again some kind of disconnect. And I think that we just need a fresh reset with anybody involved with the elite stuff, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, I think character-wise, Jack is in a better place than the Bucks are.
Yes.
I just think the big thing that he's missing right now is he needs his own storylines. He needs his own feuds. And he
needs his feud. I think that's what we're about to get to, though. So
yeah.
with the after match stuff.
Yeah, after this we got the Dan Garcia stuff, which I thought this was a great way to bring Garcia in and to tie into the overarching storyline of the entire pay-per-view of Mox challenging all of these younger guys and these day one guys. Like, this is what it is. Like, you guys are happy where you're at. You're complacent. And so I thought it made all the sense in the world for Garcia to come out and be like, no, I'm next up for that title. And very much looking forward to that feud. This makes a lot of sense based on where their characters are. And all this stuff coming into this pay-per-view with Garcia, and is he going to stay with the company? Which afterwards, we got MJF, which I was very surprised to see.
Super
MJF.
surprised.
I was
Super
like, wait,
surprised.
Max? I thought he was filming a movie.
It's I guess my question is, do you think those two things, do you think the return of MJF, immediately the return of Adam Cole afterwards, outshined of the potential? Because this should be about Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia, but it felt like it was more about Adam Cole and MJF, right?
This was a weird place in some ways to put that. I get that you still had unfinished business with Max and Garcia, so you had to find a way to put Max here to get to the Adam Cole thing. It just was a lot to throw in after this match.
It was.
And I don't think it necessarily outshined Jack and Garcia. It just felt like it just was a lot. It was just a lot to put here. Jack slinking out of the ring while all of this stuff was happening was very weird. He was just like, I don't care.
No parts.
And I thought the MJF promo was good. MJF running down Garcia at one point saying, "Yeah, your whole leaving this company, huh? This bidding war is about as real as my bidding war." I thought that was a great line. I think all the stuff that he was saying in concert about all of this was good. It just, I don't know if it should have been here.
I did think when MJF pulled up though, like, it's different when he's here. Like his minutes of promos and how the crowd reacted to him. I'm like, yeah, Max, it's different. He's needed on this show for sure. I don't know if this was the place for it, but like the energy when he's involved and like they know he's a top guy and anything he says and does, they're attached to every word. It's different.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, the other guys could feel away because when he comes in, he always gets this big reaction. It feels like this orbit around him is just undeniable. And I don't think that's necessarily anybody's fault. He's just a massive star. And you could tell every time he shows up, he is a big star. And he looked like a big star here. The Adam Cole stuff, go figure. Adam Cole still very, very over.
Super over. God, oh my God.
People still love doing his catchphrases and everything. People just want to see this guy. Still very popular. We momentarily did not care at all about him supposedly being a heel. We were just happy to see him.
Dog, I was at Dynamite this week and he started the show, and when his music hit, like, people love Adam Cole, dog. He is out of here. And the boom, y'all. But yeah, no, I mean, I think he's established himself and he's done a good job of like the streaming thing and kind of staying relevant even when he was injured. Cause like that part of his fan base is going to love him no matter what. Like he could stop wrestling now and he's still going to have like that Twitch side and, you know, the up, down crew and all that. And so he's established that, but like we still just love him as a wrestler regardless. And I feel like he never really got to get fully into his AEW thing, and we all still kind of want that.
Yeah, to the point of how this felt like a lot, because you use the MJF thing as a vehicle to bring Adam Cole here and do his return.
Yep.
But then we find out Wednesday that Adam is not a heel anymore for reasons in a long promo, and then Max is not coming back. He's still not going to be there. He's not going to be here, and he's not going to do the match with him. So it's like, okay, so you added all this stuff here that doesn't have a payoff anytime soon. That was an interesting choice. I mean,
I'm just like, what was Max doing there at WrestleDream then?
It just felt like he was there as a vehicle to get Adam Cole back on his pay-per-view and back in the company, and it worked. It worked in that way in a vacuum, but the more you think about it, it's like, well, wait a minute. Why'd they do that?
I was like, wait, MJF's not coming back. Like there's not like him and Daniel Garcia aren't gonna fight right now, and him and Adam Cole also aren't gonna fight. I'm like, I think we could have just maybe saved the Adam Cole thing for Dynamite then, right? Like I understand like getting the big pop. There's a lot of people in this crowd, yeah, but like in this story with what Jack Perry's saying, like Adam Cole don't got nothing to do with Jack Perry when we get to the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I did like all of this stuff. I just,
Me too.
Again, when you think after it happened and the moment is over and you like your blood and everything is pumping and everything, and then you think about it for a second. It's like, wait a minute, why'd they do that?
Why was Max there? That's my most confusing. Like, if Adam Cole's gonna be here, yeah, we could have found out a way to bring him, but Max ain't gonna be here. What was he doing here?
Yeah, especially by Wednesday when I was listening to that segment and Max got on the screen, I said, okay. Then why? Never mind.
Because I understand every time I go on my phone, Max is announced for a new movie. Like he's doing something, but why was he there then?
Yeah, booked and busy. We got a triple threat match for the International Championship.
Oh my God!
Konosuke Takeshita taking on Will Ospreay and Ricochet. Man, this was absolutely fire. I mean, all of those people that were saying going into this, why didn't they just do Ricochet Ospreay at the pay-per-view? I have no doubt we're going to see Ricochet Ospreay again in a one-on-one match. I think that was just to get us kind of the teaser, whet our appetite for the big Will Ospreay pay-per-view match. And this guy's another one where I know we said this about Hangman, but that reaction when he came out, the way that crowds react to his matches, and if you're
just
saying
that when that hits and the crowd's like, oh my God, we don't know where we are, it's crazy.
Yeah, just the way that we're saying that Hangman is the most intriguing heel in the company. Currently, Will Ospreay is by far the most over babyface in the company.
Yes, sir.
Easily, and he, man, again, it's not just how people react to him when he comes out. It's not just how people react when he does like the most basic promo. The way that crowds react during his matches, it's unlike anything on the rest of the show. It's insane. I've experienced it multiple times this year. It's just it's crazy.
You could just feel like they're biting on every move when they say that wrestling matches don't have story. You're lying. You never seen a Will Ospreay match in the crowd, how they react to every move and how things move. This was insane, Phil Lindsey. We were watching live on the watch along with Denise, and I was just like the whole time, like, what are you guys doing? There was so many insane spots. There's so many crazy head drops. The athleticism and the quickness and the power moves and the strikes in this were unbelievable. Takeshita at so many moments when he would just punch somebody, knock somebody's lights out and do both of them and then just look at the crowd like, what do you want to do? When they tried to do their little famous pose off in the beginning and Takeshita hit them both with drop kicks, like, nah, we're not doing that today. Like the whole time of him just trying to stop their shine, trying to stop them from their flips, trying to stop them from doing all that, and at the same time being the most vicious guy in the match. Insane. Takeshita's performance in this was godly.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those guys, especially coming after the G1, of like, well, maybe just turn this guy babyface. People really like this guy. He's very popular. This match, again, showed why he's still a heel, because I thought he played his role as a spoiler, not just in the storyline, but in this match so well, because, I mean, he came in and he spoiled the one-on-one match to get to his triple threat match. And then every time, like you said, when him and Ricochet were trying to get their shit off, he just came in like, nah, we're not doing that.
Nah, not here.
They tried to do their Superman pose at one point and stare each other down with the googly eyes, and he came in and drop kicked both of them, like, get out of here. He pulled off his elbow pad like Ospreay does before he does the hidden blade, and then proceeded to hit both of these guys with massive looking forearms and just dropped them. I was like, okay, you're just gonna just try to knock one of these guys out? Cool.
At one point it looked like Ospreay was out from one of the shots. Like he's just like on the ground, just like praying for his life. I'm like, Takeshita is really destroying these guys. The way that they teased the table for so long in that spot. And Ricochet, I saw this week I got to be in the second row for the Collision taping, and I saw up close Ricochet and AR Fox, and the way that Ricochet effortlessly pro wrestles makes me sick. Like, he's just like, I can't even describe like how easy it is for him. He's just like gliding through, boom, 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 hit this, hit it's like this guy is phenomenal. Like, I can't even like my eyes can't even process how he moves through this thing. And Ospreay is just like the way that he connects moves to each other, connects the power bomb to the Styles Clash, connects the it's something to the hidden blade. It's like another level. I don't even understand these three guys.
Again, when we, like I said, the way that crowds react to him, and it started being in that crowd when he hit that Styles Clash at All Out, and how the crowd collectively yelled Styles Clash when he did it, and he did it again here, and it's just like all of these organic things that you're not telling your audience to do, they're just doing it because they love this guy, and they're into everything he's been doing from New Japan. They're just fans. They're in, and that's what I'm saying. When you got somebody like that that's over like that organically, it's only a matter of time before he's going to be AEW World Champion.
Undeniable. Like I said, like I'm thinking of Hangman. I'm like, it's going to be Hangman and Ospreay. Like you said, the biggest heel versus biggest babyface. Like eventually, these guys are going to have a collision course and square off for that AEW World Championship, because what they're doing on both opposite ends of the spectrum of heel and babyface is crazy. And AEW having two young guys that they can build their company on, in conjunction with a lot of other great talented wrestlers, is insane. But Ospreay was on display. But this match was Takeshita's to win, man. Like, he came in, he's been for weeks looking at Ospreay with very deceitful eyes. He's been wanting that championship for a while. He came in here destroying these two guys at every turn. He was really on his game. Took Ricochet out with the table bump. Like, this was his match to win. This was the first time in a while that I was not mad at Don Callis shenanigans.
I think Don has been much, much better in the role when he's just. I think we got confused at one point. Let me rephrase this, because Don was doing some great heel work with Kenny for a long time. A big part of the belt collector stuff was Don being a good heel manager, and then when he turned on him and he was doing the stuff with Ospreay, he was still doing good stuff. It was that brief period where he was doing the stuff with Jericho where we all got tired of it. And ever since then, I'm just like, hey, man, Don is all right. Wait a minute.
Don is a good heel manager, dude.
We might have had Don fucked up. But, no, Don was great in his role here. Like you said, this was Takeshita's match to win. That crowd knew it from the onset, and they did not care about booing this guy by the end. They cheered him when he won, even though he cheated to win. I love that. I love that Don and Fletcher come out and help him win, and the whole story here is one of Ospreay's best friends in the company turned on him, and then Takeshita picks up the win, and then they just cheer Takeshita like none of that happened.
Yes, we've been waiting for you. Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher just turned on Ospreay. Don't care. We're happy for Takeshita.
Takeshita's champion, yeah.
Ospreay just lost his best friend, bleeding in the ring with his arms up. Don't care. Takeshita got a big win.
Yeah, no, very happy for Takeshita. I'm glad that they had something for him after that G1. We were all saying it like, man, the way he looked in that tournament, you got to do something with this guy. You got to push this guy because he's amazing. And he was amazing in this match. Like you said, Ricochet was amazing. I hate at one point that we had Ricochet in this point where people acted like what he did was not special. And people were like, oh, well, he can't cut a promo. And, like, there are a bunch of guys that can wrestle. No, there aren't a bunch of guys that can wrestle like Ricochet, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I hate when they put him in, like, no, you can't just – he's not just a good wrestler. Like, Ricochet is a special talent. He's different, dude. This guy's done a double moonsault before. Like, he's a different type of character. He's not just a insert high-flying wrestler here type of guy.
Yeah, I very much hated at one point. People were just like, "Well, you know, what's really that great about him? What do you mean? He's arguably the greatest high flyer in the world, man."
Yeah.
And I think in the brief
it's just Ricochet. He can't cut a promo.
Well, he can't cut a promo. He don't have this we aura and all this other bullshit. It's like, dude, this guy, when the bell rings, though, he's that guy, and he's shown it in the little bit of time we've had him so far in AEW. Man, he's been great. He was great here. Can't wait till you give him more stuff to sink his teeth into and give him some more of the dream matches. Man, Vikingo is healthy again. He's working again. I just gonna say, that's one of those matches I want. We had another guy on this card that we'll talk about a bit that I cannot wait for those two to wrestle.
Swerve. Shit.
Yeah, the Swerve match also could be fun. Ricochet is Ricochet. Don't let anybody tell you any lies. He was fantastic here. Will Ospreay still Will Ospreay. Very, very good triple threat match to nobody's surprise. I don't think anybody came away from this like, you know what, man? That match was pretty good. That was my sleeper of the card.
That was a sleeper, yeah. I wouldn't expect that. I can't believe that, how great that match was. No, we were all like, yeah, this match is great. Of course, surprise.
Yeah. Right after this, I believe we got the Nana and Swerve segment with what looks to be the Hurt Syndicate coming up soon. I thought this segment was very, very good. I saw a lot of response to it, like, why was this on a pay-per-view? And I think it was possibly in conjunction with people possibly wondering why we got this Max segment and why we got this stuff after that. But when it started, I knew immediately why it happened here, because this is the Tacoma Dome, this is Seattle, big hometown reaction to Swerve. I think that was also some great storytelling they did in the opening match where Hangman was seemingly off his game because the crowd kept chanting at him Swerve's house. That was a nice little touch of not just Jay White out wrestling him, but him being out of sorts, being in his hometown and trying to act like none of that was bothering him, and it clearly was.
Phil, I've been to 2 AEW shows this week, and what I heard in the building, outside of the building, and all before the shows, whose house? Swerve's house. Every time, it's not woos anymore. There's people still doing woos. For a while, people were doing the LA Night thing, but now every AEW show that I've been to in the last 6 months to a year, it's always whose house? Swerve's house. Like, people knew that Swerve wasn't going to be on the card of Dynamite, and everybody was still like doing the Swerve thing. Like, that's just like, it's a part of lexicon now. Like, he's a top guy. So I totally understand why they would have him on WrestleDream. We're in Washington. Like, he's been out for a while. The pop that he got when he came out, like, dog, he's out of here. Like, it makes sense to put him on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I told you when I went to Dynasty and how, like, you could see it before you got up to the arena, all of the people with the signs, like the Swerve chant starting before you got even in the building. Yeah, he's out of here, man. Like, he had to reach that level of stardom now where it's just different. And I mean, I've seen him doing stuff in the midst of this week, like the Breakfast Club stuff, and then like at Comic-Con signing a contract and all this other stuff. I'm like, nah. This guy, this is different than where Swerve was a year ago. He's big, massive star now. And it showed. He came out, he got the spotlight entrance and the big pyro behind him. It made him look like a massive star. And that crowd was very, very excited to see him. I thought the way that they played up the stuff with him and Nana was very, very good, where MVP has history with him. And, well, history with everybody in that ring, because not just Hurt Business with Shelton, of course. He was tag team with Shelton in New Japan, and they've done a bunch of other things together. But I love that going into this, Swerve was kind of like, hey, man, we do have history. Maybe we could do this. You remember when we wrestled that time for The Fly? Man, I do like power. I do like money, man. Like, I could be doing this. And that payoff of him saying all these things about Nana that bother him a little bit, like, man, you still selling weed out here? What are you doing? Like, you selling coffee and all this stuff. But at the end of it saying, but your family, and I would never turn on family for anyone. There was a bit at one point with all of the Bryan stuff where people were saying, is he a babyface? And I thought everything he did in this promo was absolute babyface stuff.
Yep.
The way he came out, the way he reacted to the crowd and thanked them for, supporting him, the way he even kind of walked back some of the stuff with Brian of saying, man, I've been going through it with injuries since my last match. Hey, man, karma's something else because all that stuff I was doing to Brian. And even this here where he's just like, again, we know his story of getting to the championship, of how he felt like, I have to do all of these ruthless things to get here, but it's going to be worth it to be champion. And in this moment, he was like, I'm not willing to turn on Nana, though, because we got here together. He's family.
Right. That's a crazy ass story arc. Like you said, a year ago, this Swerve wouldn't have done this. Like, the one that was trying to become world champion would have sold Nana down the river if it mean getting closer to the world championship. But it's showing the maturity and growth, and all that is totally adding on to his babyface run.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought MVP again is great. MVP is another one where what we were saying about Max earlier, about how you can just see the difference in his promos and how polished it is, the way he presents himself, the way he carries himself. He just feels like a big deal. His promos are always exceptional. And, man, his acting here with Swerve also great. I thought the segment was really, really good. The payoff of it, of course, we were all expecting possibly seeing Lashley show up. But the thing that I do like about it is what we were saying earlier with Shelton. Shelton's not just somebody's lackey. He's not just somebody's henchman. And Swerve saying in here, man, no, you inspired me. You inspired a lot of black wrestlers. And listen, that is absolute fact. There's a reason why at one point for a lot of people, Shelton was that guy, man. What he did in those Money in the Bank matches, highlight reel for there. What he was doing in Royal Rumble matches, the matches like we said with Shawn, we weren't seeing black wrestlers in that spot. And so for him to be still doing it at this age and still looking great, man, just that moment of Swerve giving it up to him, I was sitting there like, nah, this means something to me.
Look, every black wrestler, all 500 of the black wrestlers on the BW 500, they all do the flatliner for a reason. Like, Shelton Benjamin is the guy. You know what I mean?
Bro, massive influence. And
every single person is influenced by Shelton.
Massive influence. It's so cool to see him getting his flowers in the midst of this stuff that they're building with Hurt Syndicate. But I still don't even feel like he gets enough of his flowers. I just don't think he's appreciated nearly enough, man. And it's just so cool that he got this moment in this, and it's so cool that it's not just going from, oh, hey, we're building this up. Here's Lashley. They're actually building up Shelton in the meantime. He got the match this week on Dynamite, and he's getting a match coming up with Swerve. I think that's a blessing in disguise in this. We saw a report about why Lashley wasn't here, and again, I think it ended up working up for the better for Shelton.
Yeah, especially with what happened with Leo this week. Yeah, just like kind of a little time to shine the light on Shelton before we bring in Lashley, because Lashley's such a big, huge presence. Not saying that Shelton's going to get lost in that, but you just kind of want to establish that Shelton's not just here, like Phil said, to be someone's lackey, to be someone's henchman. Like, he's here to work. Like, if he wants to win a championship, he can do that if he wants to. Like, he's going to be able to compete with the best of the best, the young guys, and still at a high level. Yeah,
man, the idea of him possibly being in Continental Classic or doing some cool stuff like that, like, bro, I'm here for it.
Dog. Shelton and Okada's, that fucks me up.
Bro, Shelton and Takeshita, like, there's matches.
Shelton and Takeshita, that's crazy,
bro. But yeah, I thought this segment was very good. Very much looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do here. I think they've done a great job of, teasing the stuff coming up. We're definitely gonna see Lashley at some point. I don't know.
What a black ass segment too, Phil. Just black people in the ring talking about black wrestlers, inspiring them, and black legends. Like, yo, I'm all in. This is for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I love this. There was a narrative at one point about how Swerve was not trying to help out other people, which that didn't age well. Looking at this segment, and then some of the other stuff that he's currently doing, but just the idea that Lashley and Hurt Business are coming in, and like Swerve said, you're coming and trying to pick the biggest dog in the yard, and it's Swerve. He was just champion, and for Lashley to come in and go, yeah, I'm going to beat that guy, it means something, because this guy was just at the top of the mountain.
That's like you saying, my brain's like, dude, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Because like that's all the type of thing that we want. That's like what I fight for as someone who fights for black wrestlers, who does the list, who's in this space for a reason. It's like to see a big star come and say, I want to challenge the top dog, and the top dog's a black wrestler, dog. Like that makes me so happy, man. Like we fought for so long and so hard to even get to a position like this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like one of those where people are like, oh, well, throw all the black people in a segment thing. It wasn't like the Hurt Business went and challenged him because he was black. They challenged him because, no, he's a former champion and he's a top guy.
If you beat him, you're somebody.
Yeah. So, man, loved everything about this segment. Made Shelton look great. Made Swerve look like a big star in his home state.
And MVP looked massive in that ring, dog. They look so big.
Nana also played this role well. I don't want to leave that out. Nana looking worried that Swerve might actually turn on him because, I mean, look at this guy's history. He's turned on so many people. I mean, hey man, where's AR Fox? Where's all these they
used to have a squad behind him, and they don't have any of those guys anymore.
He's the only one left, and so the idea that like, hey man, he might leave me for somebody else that has a history of reinvigorating people's careers, somebody that he has history with, and he can go over there and work with them. He was looking worried, but then when he was like, I'm not going to turn on my family, and Nana was behind him getting his shit off, he was like, nah, yeah, and another thing.
That's right. Nana's great in the role anyways. And I love the kind of contrast between him and MVP, because like they kind of represent a lot of the same things, but they've taken really different kind of paths in their wrestling manager careers. So like that aspect is so great. We still got so much more to get into with this feud. Like Lashley ain't even here yet. Like we're still kind of building the anticipation of him pulling up. So this is very exciting.
Yeah, and MVP been handing out that card a lot. We don't know if there's going to be a fourth or a fifth member joining them.
Who's going to take it?
Yeah,
he's handed it to some women. Like it could be anything at this point.
Yeah. I love that we're getting this. And I think the other part of me enjoying that MVP and Shelton got to do this in the ring and build up something here that the crowd was into is the biggest disservice, I think, to Hurt Business is that they started this thing during the pandemic and it got very popular, and we didn't get a chance to see how the crowd would have reacted to them. Lashley was going into the biggest moment of his time as a heel at that time period, defending his belt against Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania 37. The crowds had just came back, and he just did it with MVP because they made this weird decision to split them up before that WrestleMania. And I still don't understand why they did that.
What happened? I still like that's still a big, huge mystery to me. Like they still had legs to this because, like you said, part of the magic was seen in front of the pandemic Thunderdome crowd. So it didn't even like there's still so much that needs to go on. So it's great to be able to, like you said, see these guys in a live crowd and know that like when there's at full capacity, it's gonna hit really hard.
Yeah, once Lashley shows up, man, it's going to hit differently. And it's just cool to see them get to finally see the fruits of that labor because they didn't get a chance to see that in the first run. It's just still just such a weird decision because if you don't get the crowd reaction and see what you have in them, how do you know if it's working?
Right.
Like, why did you make the decision to break them up before you saw what the reaction is? Because if they go out there and they have this huge reaction at Raymond James, I think that's where WrestleMania 37 was. Yeah, Raymond James Stadium. And you see, like, man, we got something here. You didn't even give it a chance to see if you had something here. You broke it up before we could see.
Right. They didn't even get the chance to tell them that it's bad or any reaction at all to do that. So now we're going to get to see these guys in front of a full crowd. We're going to get to see what they do as a complete unit, and it's going to be very exciting. The potential fourth member is probably the most exciting thing because there's so many names that could be in there.
Yeah, a lot of AEW guys that you got in. I mean, just the idea of us potentially getting Leo with them after Leo was out of the mix with Lashley at that point in his career. That would be really cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. There's so many avenues they can go with it. Very excited to see where they go.
Right.
we got Hologram versus the Beast Mortos in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This is essentially what you would think it is if you've been watching Hologram on Collision. By the way, here's the guy that I was thinking about earlier. When we get this Ricochet and Hologram match, bro.
All right, yeah.
Ooh, that's gonna be a blockbuster.
That's right.
But yeah, now Hologram, man, he's ended up being one of the better creations from AEW. I mean, he's getting great reactions. I mean, at one point I was wondering, all right, you're building this up on Collision. That's a interesting choice because I wouldn't say that a large part of your fan base only watches that.
Right.
But you've built up so much great equity in him in Collision, and then you also have something unique in him and his look and everything, and the crowd is very much into it. This guy, man, incredible. I already knew it before he came there. When I found out who he was, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this guy wrestle in person. Yeah, this guy, he's fire, and this match was more of that. I mean, we know how Beast Mortos gives it up. Beast Mortos did that corkscrew suicide dive, which was like, what? What? Yeah, incredible. When Hologram does that, when he jumps off the rope and goes into that crucifix bomb that he does, he just does it so suddenly.
It's fast.
It looks crazy. It looks so smooth when he does it. His poison Rana that he does also, man. Hologram is one of them guys, man. He's one of them hoopers, bro.
Dog, this match was. I think every show should just have this match, a lucha style match where the two lucha guys go crazy. 2 out of 3 falls, a regular lucha match for them. They do stuff that you've never seen in your life. They do stuff that you've seen in your life, but up times 1,000. Some of the Hurricane Ranas that Hologram can pull out of nowhere is insane. Beast Mortos, when he gets on his, I'm insane, I'm a beast, but also I'll do a crazy ass dive that you've never seen in your life. Just like flipping and spinning definition. They're on this side of the ring, they're over here, they're up here. Like, this is just like, after seeing that triple threat match and being like, how do you follow up something like that with any kind of match in any kind of show? Like, this is the type of stuff that you do. You bring out two guys that do shit that's unbelievable and that you never seen before, and that just brings Lucha Libre to the mainstream and on a different level. Like, this is the type of matches that you do. Hologram, when he came and when they announced him and they thought he was going to be Ricochet for a minute, which is a funny kind of connection. But yeah, he's been like a blessing in disguise, and like, he's changed the perception of AEW creating people, because like, that's you don't see a lot of people like kind of create it from scratch. Like, he's of course an established luchador, but like, we did this, we made this for him, and it's our thing, and it being so successful is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with the guys that were like literal like homegrowns and like from scratch guys, you got him and Acclaimed. They've got some wins with that. This match was a lot of fun. The thing that I love about it is you could have easily went into this match worried about variety when you're doing this very flippy lucha match, and you're also doing Ricochet and Ospreay in some form on this, and this was totally different from that match. Like, not even close at all. Just a completely different style of wrestling, and man, it just was so much fun. Hologram does this crazy thing where he does his poison Rana sometimes, where it looks like he tries to like jump into it, and then and he almost slipped when he did it. And I was like
he tries to stand on their shoulders, but he falls back into it.
Yeah, and so when he did it on an apron, I was like, to have the coordination and the timing to do that is just wild. Like, and you're going backwards doing this, and you're going backwards knowing you're going head first towards the apron going into this.
And this is two wrestlers who have had a match. They're tired by this time, and you guys are still pulling off stuff like that. Like, the room for error is so
wild,
small,
bro. Wow. I just don't even know when you go into a gym and decide, I want to try that. Like, I want to try and stand on somebody's shoulders and flip backwards into a poison Rana. Like, what?
on this part, this much of the ring on the apron, like not in the full ring, like in the ring, it's insane, but on the apron, it's even crazier because like one slip and this is all over.
Yeah, man. Everything that you thought that this match was going to be. Great 2 out of 3 falls match. Hologram picked up the first fall, and then Mortos picked up another one. And Hologram ended up winning with the Portal Bomb. And, man, great match.
Those super crucifix bombs were just insane. If you want to see some crazy-ass wrestling, watch this shit.
Yeah, very, very fun match. And also just a great way to, if people were looking around like, all right, we got a little bit of a lull period from the segment, even though I thought the segment was still a high point. We came out of it like, no, we're still coming with the wrestling, man. We're not gonna ramp it down in any way. We're coming with fire wrestling. We got Darby Allin versus Brody King after this. Darby Allin is another guy, and man, across this pay-per-view, when people are like, oh, they haven't built these guys up, there were at least 4 or 5 guys on this show where I'm like, you can make this guy champion.
Future of the company.
Darby is one of them. Darby is one of those guys where his matches are just so unique to him. They're so inventive, and they're such a different spectacle from everything else because it's like you're not going to get anybody else in that company that can do a Darby match.
Right.
And just the way he puts together his spots, the way he throws himself into his dives and all of his moves is just completely special.
Yeah, it's Darby's such an interesting thing because like I feel like if they made a push and like for a month they just had Darby beating everybody, he'd be the number 1 babyface in the company like so fast. Like he'd take Ospreay's place. Like that's how much AEW fan base is behind this guy. Like they love him. Like when he last week said that he was the face of AEW and he was talking all this, I was the fans think that. Like the fans really feel like that way. They really feel like Darby's their guy, and it's apparent every time that he has a match. With like you talking about variety in this show, like you don't have to worry about Darby doing anything that anybody else is. Like then the Darby's match is going to be completely bonkers. He's going to fly from somewhere. He's going to get power bombed on the steps. He's going to get destroyed. And Brody King looks like a giant monster, the unbeatable guy. But Darby is the heart and soul of AEW, so of course he's going to come out on the end. Darby is another on short list of guys that are eventually you got to give him a championship run. Like he has to be AEW world champion before it's all over, just because the fan base has been behind him and they're going to continue to be behind him. Like, I don't know if Darby will ever be heel at this point. Like he should, like, why would he?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to your point, if we've seen wrestlers come out and say that, you know, I'm a top guy or I'm the face of this company. And boy, if the crowd don't believe you, man, they will let you know. They will eat you alive. They will boo you. We've seen it happen. I mean, that's part of Naito's origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Him saying, "I'm the guy, and I'm going to main event the show," and that crowd going like, "No,
not for us, not for me."
And so, man, for him to come out and say that, and the crowd is just like, we fuck with you,
right?
But yeah, I think it just works for him that everything he does is so unique to him.
Right.
If anybody represents AEW and a lot of what AEW represents, it's Darby Allin. If a day one guy that has been here from the beginning, he's been like killing it in his matches. His time as TNT champion and all this stuff went over really, really well for him. But also when you think of the idea of an alternative and like something you're not going to see on the other show, that's Darby Allin to a T, man. Like the way he films all of his video packages and stuff, the way he does his promos is just completely unique to him.
Yeah. Like they don't have a Darby over in WWE or in TNA or in New Japan anywhere. Like Darby is unique to AEW.
No, it's not just that he is entertaining wrestler and all these other things. Just him as a creative mind and the way he does things is just completely unique to him. And man, the way he that vignette that they aired before his entrance of him in Tacoma and him riding on the back of the bus and everything, like he's done so many of these things where I'm just like, oh, it's just, you know, the stereotypical Darby thing. And like every time I see one, I'm like, no, this is actually really cool, and it makes him look cool. It makes him feel special. And man, when he came out after that, the way the crowd reacted to him, I wasn't high on how they booked him, especially coming out of All In, giving him two big title matches, or at least two title shots, and then having him come away with nothing. I didn't really like that, but I think there is a solid payoff in going, hey, this is a guy you've never beat. You've had all this trouble beating. Let's have him challenge you at this big pay-per-view in Tacoma and get this big match where you not just beat him, but earn his respect. You could have got here in a better way, but I do think that this was a good way to remedy that situation.
Totally. I think giving him a fun match with like one of his friends and get to do his thing, definitely a way to kind of remedy that. But Phil, there was a world that existed for a minute that had the potential of the end of this show, WrestleDream, Darby Allin as the AEW World Champion. You know what I mean? Like there's a world where that thing kind of existed. Like I don't know if there's official plans, but somebody had to be thinking about that. Like Brian's going to have his last match. How are we going to kind of do this? We're going to be in Washington. Who's a homegrown guy that we could kind of go forward with? Darby had to have been on that list, you know?
Yeah, I would think so. At least I would hope so. Yeah,
I would hope so, right?
Yeah, this match was great. It never felt like Darby was doing anything that was out of ordinary for his character that didn't work with his style of wrestling. It wasn't him out here overpowering this guy that was bigger than him, that has beat down on him multiple times. No, he was just doing his usual stuff. Man, the way that he does like those stunt dives and stuff, and then will come back, like he dove over the steps and then did that roll and came back. Fire. The casket drop and everything that he did to the outside on the stairs.
Dude, his suicide dive, the way that he shoots out and it looks like he just like explodes on the wrestler, that shit is crazy.
Bro, the way he looks like, I'm telling you, he just throws himself into these dives. Like the way he collides with people, and like the way he almost like is bouncing off people because he's going so fast. It's crazy.
It's like he shot out of a cannon or some shit. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, hitting that casket drop onto Brody on the stairs and briefly teasing the count out, and then he slides back in the ring. And before he can get back in the ring, he's already setting up the next casket drop, hits him with that. I thought that was a great finish, man. I really liked that.
Yeah, I like the Darby uses his body as a weapon. That's how when he finishes a big match, like a couple of them drops, a couple of them him just like overwhelming his opponent who has been destroying him for the most match. But with will and heart, that's the way that Darby Allin wins his matches. Great way.
Yeah, I love this match. Man, Darby is one of the guys that when you think about like how does this work, man? Like how does this mix of talent work? He's also had one of my favorite matches this year with Takeshi on TV. It's only so long you're going to be able to deny this guy. I do think he is eventually going to be AEW World Champion.
Yeah, and I think to kind of your point, like there's 4, 5, 6 guys on this roster that in 5 years they're going to be in their prime. Like we got time to develop these guys, and so many of them that in 5 years we're going to talk about how this person was world champion, how this person was world champion, how this person was world champion. I think for like the filling and what you want, the future of the business, this show and a couple of the last shows has shown that we got some good talented people that are going to be top guys in the future, and that can work. It's exciting.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we got Young Upstarts Private Party taking on the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I thought this was a really good match. I did not agree with the outcome of it, but I thought that this was very good. I thought everything that they did going into this match, playing up that Private Party was a tag team that came in right away with a lot of promise. They were day one guys that beat the Young Bucks and upset them, like one of the biggest upsets in the history of the company. And then 5 years later, they're still languishing. They've never been tag team champions. Where are they going? Having that built up and giving us the Amazing Red pep talk before their entrance, man, I was ready to believe. After that, I was like, nah, you can't put the OG up there and have them hype them up. Like, bro, man, I was like, come on, they're winning. And so, yeah, we did not get the W here, though.
They didn't win, though. Yeah, It's like I understand because of what came out of it. Like I think the post-match angle was like, okay, that means something. Like Private Party's another one of those homegrown teams that the fans want to get a big win. Like they were gonna be all in and sold on them winning. It wasn't gonna be like they don't deserve this. It was like it's their time, it's their moment. And so it just felt like the natural thing. And then Phil, the beginning fucking Young Bucks promo of them being like, it's essentially, I said it on the thing, like it's a little bit more not as extreme as Triple H and Booker T, but along the same lines of like, you guys could never do it, and then they didn't do it. Like, that's not the message that I want to hear.
Well, I don't know if you picked up on this, and this is how I think AEW does very intriguing things all the time, and it might go over people's heads. Throughout this show, they did multiple greatest hits to Bryan Danielson. If you notice, there was a bit earlier in the show where I just lost my train of thought. It's gone.
Bryan Danielson.
It's gone.
They pay tribute to him.
But they pay tribute to him multiple times, and I'm making that point to say, when they did the double return thing, when Max came out,
right,
and then Adam Cole came out, that's how Bryan debuted at All Out 2021. And here, I thought it was very interesting that they did a very much like, oh, you're a B+ player, which is what Bryan did to Kofi Kingston in the lead up to Kofi Mania. I don't think that was unintentional, but they're just very interesting. That I could be reading too much into it, but I do think that they did a few nods throughout this show to Bryan's career.
I can say it.
But, the Bryan, this stuff here though, man, like the thing that I didn't like about it is if you tell us they are not going to win this match, and like you're leaning into there's more to come, there's more story here. That finish didn't make me feel that way because they beat them definitively. They beat them clean. And I thought the finish was great, by the way, but I just didn't like the outcome. Hitting Zay with the BT trigger, and then he kicked out, and then he's still basically selling the BT trigger and trying to will himself into getting more, and then they just put him away with the last move, which also targeted his head. Fair. I thought all that was good, but again, to beat them clean after you sold this match on, this is their last chance. If they don't win this match, then they're forever in obscurity and all this other stuff. They got the Amazing Red motivational speech. Listen, this is it. Get it done. And you build up all of these things coming into this pay-per-view, and then they just lose definitively like that. It's like, all right, well, why did you do any of that? Like, why did you lean into that stuff if they were just going to lose? And then you got that crowd believing. That crowd was, man, big Private Party chants. That crowd was ready to believe, man. And you just had them lose. And I saw people compare it to the Acclaimed at All Out, and I don't think this is similar at all because the Acclaimed were lightning in a bottle. Nobody knew going into that they were going to get that reaction. That wasn't the point of the story.
They didn't set us up for that like this time.
Yes. The clear point of this story was to get you to believe that Private Party could win this match and that they could, because they've upset them before, they could win here. And to just do this and just have them win clean, even if they had just beat them and they cheated, I would have been like, all right, the story's not done. You could go back to this. They feel owed another match. But to do that and then have this Stokely stuff on the outside with Stokely's like, I done told you. And the Top Flight guys and Layla Gray are like, oh, well, we're going to get our title match soon. This didn't feel like out of all of that, all right, well, we're going back to the Private Party thing. Now, I do think that they can pivot and do something really good with this. But the way it finished, even when people are saying, oh, this is leading to them siding with Stokely and picking him as their manager, that would lead me to believe they're turning heel because Stokely is a heel manager. They're not turning heel. You hear that reaction to them? They can't turn heel.
No, that wouldn't make sense at all. Coming off that to turn them heel. I mean, they started to tease, like I was saying, the post-match thing of Zay being really down and the crowd being behind them, and that whole thing. It feels like that could be something that tells AEW that like we wanted this, that like there's something behind us wanting them to be champions. But yeah, them going heels, not a good idea. They're teased this week that if they don't win the match, they'll split up, or if they don't keep winning, they'll split up or something like this. But splitting them up is also not the best idea at this time. So I'm hoping this is leading to something good. But yeah, I didn't love that. I thought that might have been the time, but I mean, I guess I understand.
Yeah, it had big Cody vibes as well. People like, well,
Yeah.
there's more story. You got to add more
Right.
adversity. You got to, bro. What's more adversity than them floundering for 5 years and finally getting back to this point? That was the journey. Like
That was
people
the
were like,
adversity.
oh, well, you're missing the journey. If they lose here, the journey of them getting back. There was a journey. The journey of them getting this match in the first place after 5 years is the story. What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, they haven't had a big win as world champions ever. Like this is they had 5 years of adversity. That was the story. They told us that.
Yeah, I thought that this was the time, but I do think that they can turn this around and give them the rematch. Hopefully, that's the match at Full Gear. I think you could have just gave them the win here, but the match itself was very good. I thought that they worked very well. There were parts of the match that weren't the most clean, but I think because they have good chemistry, it was enough to make you ignore a lot of it. Like, but yeah, just the outcome was I was just not happy with that outcome.
Yeah, it was heat when they got down to it when they're working. It's Young Bucks and Private Party. Of course, they could put it together, but yeah, the outcome maybe wasn't the best. But I feel like there's more story to tell. I hate that. I hate this match is leading
let it play out.
Yeah, I hate letting it play out. It's fucking annoying, but I get it.
Yeah, as much as some of this Young Bucks stuff in character has not been for me, I think their last few big matches they've been hitting it off full cylinders, man. Totally. And if you're leading to potentially a Kenny match, because they have teased some Kenny stuff quite a few times here, I'm like, what are you guys? Are they ready? Is he ready? Is he close to being ready? I don't know what that means.
Because don't be playing with us, you guys. Like if he's back, like or coming back, like we're excited. Don't tease us.
Yeah.
When Kenny comes back, all these potential matches, dude. Oh my god,
bro. There's a lot of man. I still want this Kenny Swerve match. I still think that's the big one. But yeah, I hope that they do the right thing and drop those belts to Private Party. I don't want this to turn into a thing. Well, just bring Ibushi back and drop the belts to Golden Lovers. No, your tag division where it's at. If you're gonna build up day one guys or build up a young crop of tag teams that's gonna be the face of this division moving forward, you got to start that now. You can't still be like, oh, well, bring this hodgepodge team in and bring this. No, man, make one of these teams the team to care about, man. If you don't, they're going to be forever that team where, man, that team has a lot of potential. Maybe they should push them. Like, how long are we going to do that with Top Flight, for example? Like, bro, they're great. You got to eventually give them the win, though.
Eventually the crowd exactly like it's shown here, they want it, and they'll tell you that what they think you did was wrong. So eventually you gotta reward your fans. I mean, they consistently reward their fans, but like there's some other avenues that they could do it.
Yeah, again, I think that was part of the story here. The overarching story of this pay-per-view of day one wrestlers getting out of their own way and finding their way. And that's really what Mox has been saying in his call to action and all of this is like, yo, either y'all find this way in my version of this company, because this is my company, or get stomped out.
Right.
Like either he hit him with the Beanie Siegel, man. Get down or lay down, bro. Like, like
straight up. Eventually, what are you going to do?
So I just think if you're gonna say that, and man, the number one day one tag team that you can make, and again that crowd was in because you conditioned them for so long that you've rewarded them for being patient with so many wrestlers. Like remember when Jurassic Express won the tag belts and how it rewarded us for sticking with them. It's the same thing with Private Party. If you stuck with them for 5 years, all of this stuff, the Matt Hardy stuff, all of the stuff they've been in the mix with, this was supposed to be the moment. And if you're not going to do here, you have to do it at Full Gear. If you don't do it at Full Gear, boy, you have failed them as a tag team.
Gotta get to it, man. You gotta get to it. The clock is ticking, especially when you set us up for it. That's the worst. Is like you set us up for this. Like we're mad because you did this.
No, you gotta. At this point, you have to give them the win. I think.
Right.
But yeah, after this, we got Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This is what you'd expect to have, like the hardcore vibes of it, of Mark's stuff that he's done with Ring of Honor. His Jericho being Jericho. Yeah.
This was a match. I was really interested at why they put it that in the placement of the card that they did. Like it was a semi-main event, and I was like, "That's interesting."
Felt like he was gonna win, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, semi-main event. That's not a good sign for me at all." But then I started thinking, I was like, "I think Brian's gonna lose here, so I don't think they would do them kind of victories in a row." So that was kind of the saving grace of the whole thing. But yeah, nothing too offensive of this. Like when Jericho wants to and gets the opportunity to, he could have a great match. That's still in his lexicon. And Mark Briscoe has the crowd and the way that he works can get matches into this space. So I'm not mad at it. I'm mad at what's going to happen, but I wasn't mad at this.
Yeah, going into this match, the way that they were playing it up, the way he was playing up the Jay Briscoe stuff, the positioning on the card, I was like, oh man. I kind of had the feeling at the end of this match we were getting it. I was like, oh, nope. Come on, please, no.
We sure didn't.
But yeah, this was solid. This was solid for what it was. Mark Briscoe is thankfully still Ring of Honor World Champion.
For now.
I don't think we need another. Yeah, I might as well.
They already announced the match. They already announced it when he's going to lose the belt on Wednesday.
I might as well get ready for Wednesday. I know you have a secret. It's buried down below.
Damn, terrible what they done to me.
Might as well get ready. Let it go, let it go.
Hella funny. But yeah, on Wednesday, Chris Jericho is going to be the Ring of Honor champion. So
I don't want that at all, but I feel like you're right. I feel like this was just
why would they do an immediate rematch?
Because it's Jericho, and his feuds are never over after one match. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't want it, but I'm at least glad that Mark got a big pay-per-view win here. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I digress. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. This was incredible, man. Like these two guys. First of all, I think because some people at this moment don't want to see Moxley as champion, that they've in some ways normalized just how good this guy is. Yep, he is very good. It's just the promos he's opening every episode of Dynamite with are fantastic. He's doing great work on the mic. He's in incredible shape. When he came out and he was walking out in the crowd and he came out there and took his shirt off, I was like, this guy is like yoked. Whoa, wait a minute. This guy looks like he's in the best shape of his career. He looks motivated again. Motivated Mox is always the best Mox. And he's wrestling one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And I love everything about it. Brian coming out and having the BCC timeline stuff on the back of his jacket, because he's still like, this was a great period of my career. I loved being with you guys. And Mox on the other end of the ring is like, no, it's over. When he got on the top of that turnbuckle while his music was still going, and he started beating him down and ripped the jacket off and threw it, like, what is this? Like, you're still acting like this is some tribute act. You're still acting like you're getting a gold watch. I am gonna beat your ass and send you home. Like, what are you doing?
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that what you're saying, like, it's been lost in the sauce because people are down on Moxley for some reason, but this guy's doing incredible work. The promos are out of this world, and I think like the heel work that he's doing in ring is great. We get the final countdown for the final time, and everybody's crying and shit. Brian looks great walking down to the ring. Moxley jumps him before the crowd gets the scream of the final countdown. I'm like, oh my God, that's the biggest heel move I've seen.
Bro, the music is still playing while he's beating him down around the ring, and he's like trying to choke him with the cord. And again, like I said, tributes to Danielson. But yeah, I thought just starting that way was also great because, again, it plays into this theme of this match and the ending of, no, we're not going to let you have what you think you're going to get. You think Brian's going to get in the ring and we're going to let the announcer announce him one last time and you guys are going to get to give him this big ovation before the match? No, we're getting right into it. And this guy that has been telling you for weeks, I'm going to kill this guy. He's going to proceed to beat this guy down and try and kill him. Yeah, I mean, as much as we talk about like the ending and a lot of, the stuff coming into this, whether you liked it or not, the match itself was very good. Like the
match is awesome.
The closing stretch of this match where it really started to ramp up, which most Bryan matches do, where he gets the big hope spot and he gets the crowd into it and he starts hitting the big Busaiku knees. He gets those big, that stretch was
kicking the heads
so good. Like earlier in the match where Mox was basically trying to wrestle his style of match, grinding him down, keeping him on the mat. At one point, he starts like trying to kick him in the head like Brian does, and it's like, no, not like this. But Brian being Brian, getting that moment and getting you to believe again, like he just did a month ago at Wembley. You're thinking like, nah, maybe Brian might do this. No,
gonna do it again.
I saw people that didn't like the finish, and I disagree because I think the idea of them having this big dramatic finish doesn't fit the story they're telling. The story that Mox has been telling you the whole time is, no, he's not getting this big hurrah. I am going to snuff this guy out quietly and send him on his way. The thing that started this was him trying to choke him out with a plastic bag. He's like, no, I am going to choke this guy out and force him to give up, and he's going home. That's it.
Yeah, we're not playing these games. There's not going to be confetti. You guys aren't going to stand in the ring. Birdie and his family and Bree aren't going to be in the ring celebrating this. Like, I'm going to put this guy out of his misery. They're going to stretcher him out of here, and that's going to be it. We're done with Bryan Danielson. We're done with the celebration thing. Like, we've already seen Sting. We've already seen all this kind of tributes made. It's time to get to the shit. It's time to move forward. And the way it's doing that is killing Bryan Danielson in front of all of his family and friends.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many layers to this that I like. I love the idea of, in all of this, him bringing back the yes chant and getting this crowd to do it. And Mox just sitting around like, what is this, deja vu? We did this. You had that moment in the sun where you did the yes movement, all that stuff over there. That is over with. That's not what this was supposed to be. What are you doing, man? Like, that's not why we started this together. We didn't do this so you can eventually get your moment. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're kind of doing the opposite of our mission statement, which was to come in here and make sure wrestling is thought of as a real sport. This is real life. We're real athletes. We're in here. This ain't a fucking game. We want AEW to be what this is. And you're just playing along, playing the hits and doing the yes chants and all this celebration shit. That's not what our mission statement was.
Cut the music off. Cut all this shit off. Get this guy up out of here, bro. When he was beating him down, and this was such a great atmosphere for this match because, man, that crowd did not like Mox by the end.
Fact,
he had big heat on him by the end. He's beating him down by the apron, and that one guy is like right in his face yelling, fuck you, Mox. And he's just looking at him like, whatever. He's like, he's supposed to be your fucking brother.
Homie got his moment.
Yeah, he was in his face the whole time, like, fuck you, Mox. But man, yeah, this it served its purpose because it got great heat on him, and I said it on Twitter, but knowing our GOAT and knowing how much I love this guy and knowing how every time I just want to dote on this guy and go, just be careful, man. Just go out there and have some fun matches and just show him why you're great at doing these holds and all this technical stuff. Nah, he wants to go out there and do this fucking seizure cell and all of these things that make me sad and scared. And I'm like, dude, stop doing this. Stop doing this to me. So I could totally tell this sicko that I love was just like, nah, I'm just going to totally get stretchered out of my final match.
Dude, just disappoint this whole crowd. Everybody is so sad. Everybody's like, why did they did this ending like this? Why did he just get choked out and sent out on a stretcher? I'm like, I think they told us that this was going to be well, Moxley's been telling us for us a couple of weeks that this was going to be the way, but them giving us the big Bryan Danielson moment at All In, I was like, this is the moment. Like, the next one is not going to be a nice pat on the back with your family here. Like, the end's going to be the end, just because Bryan Danielson, like, he always set out to, like, when it's over, it's going to be over, and I don't want it to be a happy ending.
Yeah. But I just love him in this role as well, because one of my favorite moments of his entire time with AEW is getting that win over Punk and looking right at the camera like, oh, you didn't think that was going to happen? Like, you thought he was going to win? No, I'm about to get him up out of here. His feet hurt and he want to go home. He got put in a tree. He want to go home. I'm going to send him where he want to go. Man, but yeah, I love how he just matter-of-factly beat him. And you can pick up on all the small stuff he was doing character-wise. Like, you can tell he really loves this guy. He really loves Bryan. And that line from the video package of, nah, the American Dragon's already dead. He just don't know it yet. He's still trying to pretend. He's still trying to hold on. And the other line of, like, man, that guy's an addict. I know an addict when I see one. And he is addicted to this. He's not going to leave until I force him to go home. None of you guys want to do it because you still are trying to give him this parade, and you're still enamored in him, and you're treating him like this big hero. I don't care about it. He's a great wrestler. Love the guy. He's my brother. He got to go the fuck home.
I'm going to be the one. Here it is, in front of his family and friends, in front of the world. We're going to do it, and we're going to take his little friend, Yuta, to really put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, so, the finish of this, of him winning with the chokehold, which I thought was great. And then afterwards, all the Blackpool Combat Club guys start coming in. You think Yuta's going to come in there. Yuta hits him with a Busaiku knee. Of all of the moves to hit him with. Nasty,
shameful.
Yuta. Then he gets the bag, and he puts the bag on his head. I love everything they did as well, with Darby trying to come in there, and they tape Darby in the corner, and Darby's the whole time like, stop, get off of him. And you can hear in all of this that Yuta is not happy. He's like looking away while he's doing it, and Mox is looking away. All of them are, you can see that they don't want to have to do this, but they know that it needs to be done.
Right.
And when they finished, the only thing that I didn't like about this ending segment is that it went on a little bit too long. But I very much like it as something to build Blackpool Combat Club as this continuing threat, and having them do this takeover angle where it's like, it's not so much we're taking over the company, it's we're taking this company back and making it what it was supposed to be. And if you're not ready to do that, if you're not ready to live up to this potential you were supposed to have all this time, then you will get stomped out. You will get beat down.
Yeah, initially I had thought that, kind of like the feeling that you had, that it was a little too long at the end, because I thought we would see Bryan stretchered out and get the claps, but for the stories that they were telling, this ending actually makes more sense. Of like Mox being like, no, dude, I'm going to kill him. They're going to stretch him out, and then it's over. Like, there's nothing to celebrate. Like, it kind of played along to what the story they were telling.
Yeah, and they did a lot of great stuff here. Man, got to give it up to commentary. Commentary did a fantastic job during this match. This was definitely that vibe of the Attitude Era, and JR yelling at us, what have you done, son of a bitch? And like Excalibur yelling no when they put the bag on his head, and Shivani's like, get the damn police, get these guys out of here.
Now, JR had one of the best lines. BCC beat up Bryan for a while, and then eventually the babyface makes the save, and the JR's like, where the hell have you guys been?
Yeah. Exactly. He's like, where have you guys been?
JR had the line of the night with that one.
Yeah, that was great. That and get the damn police took me out. I was dying laughing. I was like, Shivani is hilarious. But yeah, also, man, just the importance of doing all of this stuff between Bryan and Nigel, getting Nigel his last match, and when all of this stuff is happening and he's losing the match the way he lost and he's getting beat down, and Nigel was like, man, I've dreamed about this moment. I didn't think it would feel like this. And if his biggest hater in the world is like, yo, y'all might be going too far. Wait a minute. I just kind of wanted to make some jokes about him and call him names and beat him in a wrestling match. I didn't want to kill him. Like...
That reminds me of House Party when when their full force is outside of the house and then he's like, look, we're gonna burn it down, and then the homie's like, I didn't talk about burning it down. I just wanted to go in and bust some fucking heads. I wasn't talking about burning the place down. That's what it felt like. I didn't know we was gonna do all this, man. I was just kind of trying to come and do my thing. This is crazy.
You got your goofy ass life locked in an ice box with nowhere to go. Classic movie, House Party, man.
I love it.
Shout out to Full Force, man. They got that one record. If you hear it, like, oh, that's Full Force. I guarantee
that's Full Force.
If you put if I put this Full Force record on for anybody, they're like, oh, that's Full Force. Like,
yeah, it's fucking act your age, not the size of those pants you wear.
Ain't my type for her. Oh. Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun.
I didn't even know that they were a group. I just thought they were the bully niggas from House Party. Like, no,
that's what I thought for the longest.
And shit.
That's what I thought for the longest. And I had VH1 Soul on one day, and I was like, wait, they're like all in a group together, and they were like, I was like, wait, this song from the movie is them,
right? And then even after that, they're like legendary producers. Like they've done stuff beyond that afterwards, but it's just funny to think about. But yeah, a great way to end the show, a great way to WrestleDream, the name and what it represents, and for it to end like this with the BCC on top, I thought was a great way.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved them throwing the belt in the bag and getting out of there, and they're just like, nah, this is over. It just felt like a crime scene.
Right. Yep.
It's over.
Like, everybody get your shit. We're done here. We did it. We did the job. Like, congrats.
Yeah, that closing shot of the baby faces leaned up against the barricade, like, what just happened here? Like, we failed Bryan. Like, we got to do better. That's such a great way. That's such a great cliffhanger. That's such a great way to build interest in those guys like Darby and Orange Cassidy and Private Party and Dan Garcia. There's so many guys that were part of that. Man, that's why Bryan is one of the greatest of all times. Because as a parting gift, he didn't want to be like, hey, I had this great time here wrestling and doing all this sicko stuff that I wanted to do. On the way out, I don't want to make this about me. I want to leave a parting gift so that you guys have something to build off of leaving. And watching that, I know we're not supposed to feel this moment of Bryan getting his happy parade, but it made me emotional because of how much he really has done for AEW. And I don't think that it should be discounted. Like I said, man, Hangman was one of the first guys he put over big in that big AEW title match. What he did for Garcia, what he did for Max. He's gonna go down after some time away from this. This is gonna end up being a legendary run for him.
Yeah, it seems like for a while, it seems so short, I guess, and like it's so compact. But if you like, I saw a graphic of like all the matches that he's had in AEW, and I was like, oh my god, like there's so many. There's still amazing match. Like if he would have retired when his neck got hurt in 2016, he would have been one of the best of all time. He came back and had my number one favorite wrestling moment of all time with Kofi Mania. And then he went to AEW and had some of the greatest matches ever for 3 fucking years, man. Like, I can't even, like this, Bryan Danielson is my favorite wrestler of all time. Like now based off of what he did in AEW. And I just can't believe that post retirement, all that, he still came back and had another legendary run. I can't even believe it.
Bro, came back, did the Planet Championship stuff, did the matches with AJ Styles, was a part of Kofi Mania, came back and had, I feel like, at least 3 or 4 of the best AEW World Championship matches of all time. Wrestled Minoru Suzuki on YouTube.
The Ospreay matches, dog. Come on, man. Okada.
Ospreay match. 2 big matches, Okada. Also the parting gift of helping to show people technical wrestling isn't boring.
Facts.
Technical wrestling is great. And giving Zack Sabre the moment of beating him on the way to his biggest win later this year. Nah, man. Bryan is one of the greatest of all time. I just
best ever.
No doubt about it in my mind.
What a career. Legendary run. I think his resume is insane, unmatched. But yeah, for him to do this and like I said, the lasting shot of this show is the future of AEW and not a shot of him, just shows the testament of like, I'm going out putting people over. It ain't about me. It's about the people that are going to be here when I'm gone.
Exactly. Like this could have easily ended with him at the top of the ramp doing the yes chant and doing the send off for the show. And it didn't. It ended with, hey, these guys are going to be on the show Wednesday. And this is what you should be interested in. And opening the show with this angle still, opening the show with the Bryan beatdown stuff and what this has done for Mox as a heel.
Yeah.
Totally selfless wrestler, man, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he totally could have got the Sting run. He could have pinned. He could have probably went out as if he went in the office and like, I want to be AEW, I want to retire as AEW champion. They would have fucking let him, but that's not the way that he gets down. He knows historically you go out on your back looking at the lights. You put a bunch of people, you put as many people over as you can on the way out, and you leave your legacy like that because that's kind of how the way this business was built. I wasn't surprised at all. People being upset this week, I'm like, you guys are surprised that Bryan Danielson went out like that? Like, that's the least surprising thing of all time.
This is what he wanted, and I think it just plays into more of the layers with Mox, of Mox feeling like, what are you doing? You know better than this. You don't get this. You don't get
you know better, if anybody.
You don't get this parade on the way out. Look at our mentor. Look at the last time our mentor was on AEW television. He got beat up on the way out. You don't get to just go away and have this ride off into the sunset and wave. No. You have to get these hands on the way out.
All of these hands. Everybody's hands. I'm going to let Marina put hands on you, too, before you go. Like, this ain't like, I don't know what you thought this was.
Marina as a heater as well has been fantastic, man.
Marina be cracking me up, dog.
just that blank stare she'll have for a minute, just like what, and then it'll just like start hitting you with these knees, and just the whole time she's just like ice grilling you the whole time. It's so funny, man.
No, that one scene when they cut to Marina and she was giving somebody like 50 knees on the outside. I was all, Marina is fucking wild, dog.
Bro. Just giving it to him. It's hilarious, bro.
She's just like, what you need me to do? Mox, who do you want me to kill? Mox is like, kill that person. She's like, all right.
On Dynamite, that GIF going around of poor Action Andretti, which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. like Mox in itself, just deadpanning, just forearming this guy out of a handspring. It's hilarious in itself. But I think the thing that makes it even funnier is how Marina is just standing there staring at him like, how did you think that was going to go? Just blankly staring at him like, what are you doing?
This was going to be like, we told you guys to chill with all the flashy flippy shit, and you thought you were going to do a fucking handspring.
You still think this is a party. Y'all coming around dancing. All you young guys want to come out and hang out together and like, get out of here with this, man.
Mox just clobbers him in the back of the head as his body crumples to the ground.
Everything about it is great.
My guy Action Andretti dirty.
The camera cut about is great. The way that Mox just like looks at him like fucking idiot. Like
why'd you even try
that? the way Action Andretti sold it, all just great, man. Marina in the background looking at him like clown.
Marina's so funny. She'll just choke out your favorite wrestler.
So you were at 2 AEW episodes this week. You went to the Dynamite in San Jose and the Collision taping. What was energy after this cliffhanger?
Yeah, like I said, I think what you brought up, Moxley, the way that he's been starting these shows are insane. It's just like a good kind of appetizer to what we're about to kind of expect off of this. And starting the show with Adam Cole, I think people just are so fucking stoked and excited about seeing him back. The energy felt like more of what WrestleDream kind of told us. Like the future of we're building this on to these young guys. These young guys are going to try to have to be the one to come up, like someone said with the super chat, of like Garcia and Top Flight and Private Party are the ones that are the future of this business, and we're going to build the rest of AEW off of them. It felt like we want to see Darby get a big win. We want to see Garcia get a big win. We want to see Ospreay get we want to see like the young up and comers come up. But then it's also like the heels are a big kind of thing coming out of the pay-per-view. Like there was controversy of people being like, every title holder in AEW is a heel and all this stuff. But I think of like how Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita came out of the pay-per-view of huge mega big stars off of the angles that they did. It felt like we're just telling the stories of the future of AEW. Felt really good energy, and knowing that, I mean, because at a point, Phil, there was a point where Edge is on TV or Adam Copeland's on TV, and kind of all these people that even Bryan Danielson and Moxley, like all these people that kind of represent WWE or like that kind of thing. Like, we want to start telling the story of AEW in the future and these young guys and what they're going to do.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I don't know when Copeland's going to be back, but just the idea of him showing up and he's just like, I'm so glad to be here, guys, and all this other stuff. And then all you hear is, down, no. Moxley's like, yeah, get out of here.
I told Brian we're not doing this, and you think you're going to come in here and do this? Yeah.
You think you're going to get to come back and do the I'm very happy to be here stick as well? Nah, get out of here.
But yeah, super fun. There was a lot of, like we talked about the Shelton and Leo stuff in this show. Shelton, there's a certain energy. I don't know if he feels like we know that they got him fucked up, but I don't know if he feels like I need to prove something to somebody or I need to show these people who I am, because we all know. And I don't know if he has an extra added effort onto that, but whatever he's doing is insane. The match with Leo was fucking great. Leo Rush as a bumper, as a seller, as an invasive young flyer is so great. But Shelton with those strikes and those suplexes is like, no, Shelton's going to be unstoppable. He's going to represent something even different than what I expected of him coming in.
Yeah, that match was so good. I loved Leo trying to do all of this high speed stuff, trying to size him up, trying to pick his spots, and he's just like waiting, like, all right, get all your shit off, and then as soon as you get close, I'm just gonna hit you with these hard strikes and these super kicks. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, it's the crowds. Some crowds I've been in, I noticed that they kind of wait for the big stars. Like the big stars are on a different level than a lot of people are. Like when you see like a Mox, or you see like like I said about MJF, like the energy just feels different. This was the Mercedes and Amanada match was extremely fun. One that I was looking forward to Mercedes coming into AEW and what Amanada had been doing, but they had some chemistry, man. Like Amanada was a big presence. She was showing her work, but I love when Mercedes gets in this mode of like, she's in that cocky state, but she's also into this, like doing different lucha spots and like being into different positions and not presenting herself as the same Mercedes that we know. Like she's worked 7 or 8 matches this year that are completely different. Like none of them feel like the previous match.
Yeah, the Queen Amanada match, as soon as we got the announcement of that coming out of pay-per-view, I immediately got excited because we know how Queen Amanada gives it up. We know she's a worker. But going into this and thinking, Mercedes has been doing this thing since the last 2 pay-per-views. Like, again, I think it was questionable to not have her on this pay-per-view, but
yes,
I do like that they've been essentially doing, I don't want to say a reset, but doing kind of a palate cleanse. Like, hey man, these last 2 pay-per-view matches were controversial.
Yes.
We'll use that word.
That's a word,
especially the All In match. The All In match was controversial. People didn't like that match, and then you get to All Out match, and there's controversy there. And so it's like, all right, let's get back to what she does best on TV. Let's show you she can still have the good TV matches and build up to like an actual big story and a big match at our pay-per-view after that instead. And I think that was the right call, because when you look at the Emi Sakura match and this match, she's been getting back to it. Those two matches in particular, I think, are two of her best AEW matches so far.
Yep.
And man, you're right. The chemistry she had with Queen Amanada and Queen Amanada getting in there, like she had that same mode as Mariah, where it's just like, I'm gonna hit you very hard, and I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna lay it in.
We're fighting.
Yeah, she's got so much charisma too. Like just when she comes down to the ring, her whole presentation, just the way she carries herself in ring too. They gotta figure it out with Queen Amanada soon too, man. She's fantastic. She's so good. But yeah, that match was so good. So annoyed that you got to see it in person, and I will.
Super duper fun stuff. The ending of Dynamite was interesting. There were some miscues. I watching it from the crowd was really funny because I was on the side that Kip Sabian ran in. Of course, the main event was Jay White versus Christian Cage. And so at one point, Kip Sabian's supposed to run down. He distracts someone. And then Hangman Adam Page comes down the same time and hits the buckshot lariat and get out of there. But there was a miscue, and Kip Sabian showed up way too early. So he runs down, and he hops on the apron, and Christian is like, get out of here. And so they still... They start doing spots still, and it's like, damn, he was way too early. And Hangman was super duper early. He comes and runs to the apron, but then he jumps off and he has to like lay down somewhere. Eventually, they got to like the spot that they were getting to was great, but that part was awkward.
Get out of here! It's hilarious.
Get out of here.
No, I thought the main event was fine, but no, Hangman laying on the side of the ring, like with that look on his face, like I'm not here. That was really great. That was funny. And that and him costing Jay the match, and Jay getting mad and rolling around on the ring, laughing like, "Oh, I'm gonna see you again. This isn't over." All that was great. Again, great way to continue to build stuff going forward. But yeah, I thought the matches in the middle of the show that hit, man.
Yeah, this was a pretty strong card, I thought. A lot of fun. The crowd was into it for most of it. It was a really good set of tapings for both. I think that the collision taping was super fun too. It's gonna come on tonight. I don't want to spoil any spoilers for anybody. The Battle of the Belts. AR Fox and Ricochet. You have to watch that. Please watch that. Kyle and Okada, super fun match. Mariah and Anna Jay, insanely fun. Like there's a lot of fun stuff that comes out of these tapings and these shows. AEW still has very exciting shows when it just comes down to it. So shout out to them for putting those on this week.
Nah, that backstage segment with Anna and Mariah, where Mariah is trying to goad her into hitting her, and she hits the spinning back fist and hits CD right in the face. And he's just like, oh, she's the whole time like, oh, that Mariah man. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
What you get, CD? Why you everywhere?
Yeah, that was great. I think the stuff they also did with the Elite, while I was saying the Elite stuff hasn't been for me, but the Elite trying to get out of the arena and go backstage, and Blackpool Combat Club is just beating all these people down in the ring, and they're just like, what is going on? Like this, like it is absolutely seeing cartoon villains like out there with real villains. Like, wait, they're really trying to hurt people. Like, what?
Yeah, I thought they were just going to talk about it. I didn't know they were going to be about it. Like them seeing it right before their eyes. That leading to BCC trying to fight Dark Order and Top Flight throughout the night. Them beating them down. Then BCC escaping in the truck and John Silver running after them so fast.
Yeah, hilarious, man.
Just great bits all around. Everybody played great. I like this Blackpool Combat stuff. I'm interested to see who's going to be the kind of big baby face to go against them moving forward.
I mean, I think they set up Orange Cassidy. I have to assume they've set up some stuff because of Orange Cassidy with conglomeration. So maybe that's what Mark Briscoe is going to do after this Jericho stuff.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I'm wondering when they're gonna give Marina something else other than he. Or is she gonna have matches? What is she gonna do stuff with the women's division? I don't know. I currently like her in this role, but I do wonder, are they gonna do anything else? But yeah, like you said, that the Mercedes Queen Nominata match was great. Another very funny wrestler that I don't even think she intends to be as funny, but Camille. Camille's reactions after she, like, somebody like tries to buck up and get in her face or hit her, and she's just like, "How dare you!" It's so
How
funny.
dare you?
When Queen Amanada headbutted her, and she was just like touching her lip afterwards, like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to hit me."
How did I get involved in this? Like, you're involved in this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Collision tonight, but strong episode of Dynamite, I thought, after a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think I'm liking the direction that AEW's taking. It feels like there was a little bit of a refresh coming off the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view felt like a refresh, honestly, and so I'm excited to see that. It feels like we're going to start getting some young people, some of the future into the title pictures out here. So that's really exciting, I think.
Yeah, we got a little bit more with the Private Party stuff sprinkled in as well. Private Party asked for another match, and Young Bucks told them no. And the backstage segment where it seemed like they were teasing something else that they're going to have to do to get their match, and they're officially on television paired with Dan Garcia, leading to the trios match next week.
Yep.
All good stuff.
We're getting to it. I'm excited about the potential of Dan Garcia taking on Jack Perry, because I think he's feels like potentially the next TNT champion, and feels like they're telling a good story with him and getting the fans behind Dan Garcia even more. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to move what he and Yuta were doing with a pure championship and having the feud and series of matches over the TNT title. I think that's really the future of that title.
Right. Yeah, it's exciting about the future of AEW. Let's get into a couple super chats and we'll move forward. Tenruza says, need a Credit Boy shirt. Can't wait for Lashley. I bet you they would want it for more credit.
They might want their credit for the shirt. So.
Exactly.
I don't know if we can get away with that.
Our homie Aaron Busby says, what's up, G's? Went to AEW on Thursday and had a great time. Crowd was hot for the time I was there. Tonight, tapings went long, though. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see you, Reg. Maybe next time. Yeah, Busby, I was wondering where Busby was that whole time. The tapings are kind of long, and like AEW does this thing with Ring of Honor where they put on a Ring of Honor match or two before the show, and then they try to put it on after all the stuff. Like they film Dynamite and Rampage and then ROH matches, and a lot of people aren't going to stick around for that. Same thing, Collision and Battle of Belts, and then ROH matches. A lot of people don't want to stick around for that. It's unfortunate for ROH.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that, Buzz, because you were like, for the stuff that I stayed with, and I was like, what were you doing? Like you looked down at your phone and there was some Drake news. I got to get out of here and react to it.
It's like that one time Academics was out at a concert like, Drake's about to drop. I got to go home and stream. Just Ricardo says the other half of Swerve's rise is Hanger. Definitely.
Yes.
Both of them played a very pivotal role for each other. Sparrow says, what's up, y'all? I'm heading to Dynamite next week in Salt Lake. If Jericho wins the ladder match in my first Dynamite ever, I'm crashing out. You better get ready to crash, big dog.
Yeah, I expect to see a crash out, buddy, unfortunately.
And then Grapple Geekery says, I was shocked Jericho lost, but forgot about his backwards ass feuds. He's going to win the ladder match, and we get months of Mark getting it back, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never over.
At least maybe somebody will win it back from him at Final Battle, but that's only like a month away, so I don't know if they will. But I don't have a lot of faith in what's happening with Christian Jericho as the Ring of Honor World Champion. That's our super chats. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you guys always for super chats. Let's get into our Humper chats. Probably need to refresh now after all of my other technical difficulties. But appreciate you guys hanging in with us to start, not just being late, but first hour of being very annoying technical.
And I'm driving to LA after this show to GCW, so been on the road a lot this week.
Did you see this GCW video that they put together for the upcoming New York show?
Mm-hmm. The Hammerstein Redemption show.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I know one of these guys that's doing reaction to this.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's funny that they, as a company, have acknowledged, the Hammerstein show wasn't very good.
Yeah. We know you guys didn't like that. We're going to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, Twimac, we are getting a Tyler album. We didn't talk about that, but very excited about that. Getting new Tyler music is extremely exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. I'm sure that album's going to hit super hard. Tyler is at a great space right now.
Yeah. One of my favorite artists at the moment. See, from Tony P. Trying to make sure that I got all of his first two ones. Okay, so he goes. Tony P says, I also seen a lot of people love the Dynamite. Expect they love the whole show. Would have focused on what Mox did, which I am glad they didn't. Don't need to do that yet. I will get there. As Mox said, everyone is all in their egos and own issues, but sooner or later we will be their issue in damaging relationships. I can see Jack turning on Elite for Mox if the Bucks think BCC is going too far. Remember that Mox told Jack that he told Jack in front of the Bucks that he was a good kid. Yo, so I thought that was just me. There were certain things that I've been thinking about where at every turn where they're just like trying to do cartoonish stuff, he is trying to like turn it up. He like tried to burn. He tried to burn Darby Allin alive. In that blood and guts match where Darby's like got him tied up to the side of the cage and he's beating him and he's like, say you give up and you give me a title match, and he's just looking like, I ain't giving up.
No, not doing it.
You're gonna have to kill me. And the Young Bucks end up giving up for him, and he's just looking like he's trying to give up. But so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up leaving them and joins Mox's crew because he fits better with them.
He does. Maybe he'll get more vicious.
Yeah, I think that could help as well. Like I think him being, because I think there's also just a clash in what he's doing and what the Bucks are doing.
Exactly.
I mean, I think there's even a clash just in general with what he's doing and what the Bucks and Okada are doing.
Right.
So yeah, I could definitely see him turning on them and leaving to join Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, me too.
Tony P also says, Action turning on Top Flight since he wants to be more FDR after a talk with Mox, screwing the Outrunners, and an acclaimed breakup. Hurt Syndicate and the Callis family having similar views to BCC, joining as an ally. I definitely think there's something to Action leaving. The way that they were yelling at Action and the way Layla was like, this is all your fault. The way he took the worst of this beating. It didn't even seem like he took the worst of it. He got the most humiliating aspect of the beating.
Yeah, Action has it seems like he has some different views than what Top 5 represents. So I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. More from Pony P says the women will feel it soon too, because Marina about to go to work along with Deonna's crew. Where does Mercedes, Willow, Sheeta, and up in a coming Athena fall into this madness? Also to Marina's first target when she gets back, it has to be Tony for two main reasons. One is obvious, she is the embodiment of everything the BCC hates, but in the women's division, the unseen one is it leans into the story of Tony finding herself again before she faces Mariah again, maybe in Australia, which needs to be for the belt. I think there's There's a story there. Marina targeting Tony of all people.
I don't think that's going to happen though.
I
think they're going to keep
story.
Marina over here, but I don't know if they're going to mix her up with the top women.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I think there's a story there, but I'm not sure if that's where they're going. I do think that would be interesting, but I'm not sure if that's where they're going.
I like Marina a lot. I think she's great in this role, but I don't know if she's ready to be like working long matches and feuds and shit.
I don't think that she's gonna go and start doing the stuff with Tony and start doing like these match style blood sport-esque matches with Tony, and Tony's gonna like. I think that Tony can do those things, but just currently what Tony's doing as a character, I don't know if I see that.
Right.
See, Tony P also continues. He says, "Hell, it may also join, unlike people together like Kenny, Swerve, Cole with a Christian, and returning Cope and Hobbs, Mercedes, Sheeta, Rosa, Athena, and Hayter facing Marina's team in the Blood and Guts match. They need to do what they failed to do with the Elite Takeover storyline. Yeah, this just feels totally different than Elite Takeover. I just think that this one feels like it has actual legs to it. I think the thing that hurt the Elite Takeover is that they just didn't have a Bryan. They didn't have somebody to beat down and get heat on. They did it briefly with Kenny, but Kenny's not on TV. Kenny's going away, so there's nothing really to get off of it. You got the heat of attacking him and Tony Khan, but it just wasn't sustainable because you didn't have somebody to work with regularly.
I continuously kind of forget about that when we talk about the Young Bucks. Like, a big part of why things are moving because the way they are is because Kenny's gone. Like, life would have been very different for the last year for the Young Bucks and the Elite and Okada and everybody if Kenny Omega was attached to it. So I'm sure they've been in like this low period of like, what are we supposed to do? Because a lot of what building this team depended on was Kenny Omega, and he hasn't been here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. More from Tony P. Just trying to line them up. See, it says now about who is going to be future champions. We know DG is getting TNT, Private Party, getting the tag belts, and Darby winning the big one. But what about Jay, LC, Hook, and Cole? Will Christian win the world title as well? Yeah. I think Christian's gonna be champion before any of those guys you named. I think he's probably gonna be the next champion.
You think he's gonna cash in his little stupid thing on Moxley?
No, I think that he's going to do something to maintain his heat because you're not going to put him against Mox because they're both heels.
No. Whoever beats Moxley, then he immediately beats that guy. Yeah, I can see that.
He's going to do something to cash in and cheat a babyface. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah. I can see it being,
by the way,
Darby maybe because Darby's should be the one to beat Mox, I think.
Yeah. By the way, not a big fan of this whole contract thing and just kind of silliness around it. Him coming out and feeling like he had to take out a pen to sign it before he can run down, and it's just kind of goofy. My headcanon is my headcanon here is somebody that works over there hates Money in the Bank, and he's been trying to show me personally that Money in the Bank is silly by doing this goofy thing on TV.
It's almost like we had a whole bunch of debates on this podcast about that concept of that thing, and now it's happening before our eyes.
It almost feels like he's intentionally behind the scenes trying to make this look as bad as possible to go, see, I was right about this all along.
Told you this shit's stupid.
But no, which is probably, let me not say that because people will really think that's true. That's of course me making a joke.
No, we're making a bit. Yeah, we're doing bits.
Making a joke. Yeah. Yeah, because I seen tweets this week where they were trying to designate, well, this person writes this, and this person writes this, and that's coming after people trying to designate this and this and this to Jimmy Jacobs. And I'm like, guys, I don't know how accurate that is. We might want to not run with these things.
They put a whole bunch of stuff on your boy, Jim. That's crazy. When I heard the list of the things that he was in charge of, I was like, I don't think he was in charge of a lot of this stuff, you guys. What are you saying?
Yeah. And he told everybody there wasn't no more tartar sauce either, man. Like it was all him. Everything was him.
He doesn't know who Okada is. I'm like, all right, you guys. Like, Jimmy Jacobs doesn't watch wrestling. Shut up. Leave me alone.
There was a lot going on with some of those reports. I don't know how true that was. But yeah. Tony P says, before I end with AEW, why are people so pressed for Renee to have reactions to whatever Mox says or does or happens to him? We know they're married, but can she not be professional on her job? Just doing her and ignoring Mox's shit, letting him do him. Yeah, that's a very WWE thing where we got to have the spouse react to everything, and that makes it real, and I don't think we always need that.
Show her when Mox is doing the thing. They should have a camera on Renee. Like, no, they shouldn't.
I think that can be good sometimes, but we don't need it all the time. I don't need.
It doesn't really make sense when he's the one doing the dirty shit. You know what I mean? Like if he was getting throttled or getting destroyed, then yeah, maybe we want a reaction. But her reaction, like, why is your husband a terrible person? We don't really need that.
No, and I feel it goes against what he's saying about how he wants this to be an alternative and do something different. He don't want to lean into this stuff with his wife on TV. That's stuff he would have had to do over there. He don't want to do that. That's why I don't understand when people keep going, it's Shane. Bro, he don't. All of this stuff he's saying it contradicts the idea of him working with Shane. Like, what are you talking about?
If that was the end goal, that wouldn't make sense at all. He's doing all this. He just stopped Bryan Danielson from having his moment, and then Shane was the one controlling it? No, that's stupid.
No, you might as well go and put him in a Mountie outfit again, have him doing all the silly stuff he was doing on Raw. Like, it would just undo all of this stuff that he did as a heel character to have him side with Shane. It just wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Let's see, more from Tony P. says, I'm also seeing some interesting changes last night on the Rampage. They're advertising more, telling more matches ahead of time, and seems like pushing the tag division again. It seems they are trying to fix issues that got out of hand. Now, if only they fixed ROH. Yeah.
I was laughing because I just had a conversation with my friend that is somewhere over there about these announcing dates in advance, and I just think it's funny because it's like the fans aren't even asking for anything crazy. They're just like, hey, could you announce a match in like 2 weeks? It's not that crazy. Like, and it's like, it's working.
You got a friend that works at AEW? I didn't know this guy.
Not me. I do have a friend that works there. He's a snake. His name's Jake the Snake Roberts. Shout out to Jake the Snake Roberts. He's a great
Jake
wrestler.
the Snake Roberts. No. Reg, keep it secret. I know you have a secret. It's buried down below.
I got a bunch of them.
Tony P says, as for WWE, SmackDown lapped Raw again, even though it's better than last week's Raw. Other than the tag title matches, nothing did it for me on Raw. How the hell are y'all making me miss the 3 hours Raw? SmackDown had meat on them bones for this week. I thought Raw was fine. I'm still here for 2 hours of Raw. I don't need 3 hours.
Right? Doesn't it just, it feels like it's flowing a lot better when people keep saying like, well, I'm like, nah, dog. They just need to figure out how to really format it, and I think it'll be better.
Yeah. The stuff I really liked on Raw worked. Like the stuff that they did with Jay and Jimmy that they immediately kind of acted like didn't happen 4 days
What
later.
is that?
Very funny. Yeah, having this stuff with it. Which shout out to whichever Twitter account that was that did that Moesha parody with that. That was fucking hilarious.
People are so funny, dude.
That was hilarious. But you did something interesting here to help promote this War Games match and this OG Bloodline stuff. And Jay's like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with this. Leave me alone. Get out my face. And then like 2 days later, he just shows up on SmackDown. It's like, he just told me he didn't.
Why'd you do the thing on Monday if you're going to do the thing on Friday?
Yeah. And then he sees Jimmy backstage and he acts like he's happy to see him. I was just like, but didn't you just say, no, leave me alone? I don't want to get out of my face.
I saw people making their own fan fiction just off of the thing on Monday, and then they were like, no, just throw all of that out. Like, it doesn't matter what these people think. I'm like, wait, what happened, though? You guys told us a story on Monday, and then on Friday, you made us forget about it?
And, I mean, Of course, we all knew he was going to change his mind, but it just happened so quick. It was like,
right.
what changed here? There was no interconnective tissue between these two things. It was just like, well, he said this Monday, Friday.
He seemed pretty set on Monday was the thing. It's like, why would he change so drastically on Friday?
Yeah, he was very irritated that Jimmy was even there. Then he shows up on SmackDown like, hey, man, listen, man, just don't mess up the family, man. Just you gotta do. I get it. You gotta do what you think you gotta do, but you don't disrespect the family.
You know what happened, right? Pops put all of them on three-way. Big Keish was like, hey, get the family back together. Rikishi's so funny.
Rikishi was like, bro, you better get to SmackDown and talk to your brother.
You gotta go talk to your
brother.
Call
your brother. I call your brother. I definitely got
put y'all in one of those big shirts. You know when they put the siblings in the big shirts, two of them in one shirt.
I've definitely gotten that phone call. Call your sister. Like, she's annoying right now. Call your sister. I don't care. Like, all right.
It always goes on the older one too. Like, don't even like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? I don't want to hear this shit. I feel like Rikishi put in the calls like, hey, show up on SmackDown. Like, I saw what you was doing on Monday. That was a bunch of bullshit. Go support your brother.
Yeah, which I tweeted this on during SmackDown, but boy, I will eat this one. I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Watching this guy return to SmackDown as a big star, and that crowd was super duper over for him doing his whole theme song while he was walking down. Yeah, I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, that I thought eventually it was gonna dissipate or no, it's increasing. Like they love him even more. It's that guy is fucking over, Phil. Oh
yeah. Go figure. I sat on this podcast and said, I think this Jay Singles run has peaked. Boy, was I wrong.
Not peak. Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
Hey, I thought that there was a ceiling in there. The ceiling's a bit higher than I thought he was about to hit.
Yeah, and I still think the no yeet thing is goofy. And
I hate the yeet thing.
The no yeet thing is very corny. It's like the yeet thing in itself is I feel like it's getting to that level of wearing out its welcome with me, but the no yeet thing is just bad. I don't think it's good.
The thing is, though, I think that's gonna make this Usos reunion shit even bigger, though. Like now, like with Jay being that guy and the different dynamics, like they're gonna be super duper out of here now.
No, when the three of them eventually get back together in the ring out there in front of that crowd,
crazy.
It's gonna be ridiculous. But no, every time one of them tries to do this play off that no yeet line, it's not good, and I wish they would stop doing it. Like even in that segment when he came back there, he was talking to Jimmy, and then Roman started talking to him, and he goes, "No yeet," and walks away. I was like, "That, no. Stop doing that."
Terrible.
Stop it. Stop it. But it felt like we were back to the old times of Bloodline. They were doing the cutbacks to Roman in his locker room. They even had Jimmy play up the whole elite, the him trying to show up and talk to him the way Paul would. And he's like, "Wait a minute, you're not. Come on, you're not the wise man. What are you doing?" I was trying to comfort you. With Jimmy's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, Jimmy's really great in his role.
Jimmy is really, really funny. The way he was walking around, even the way he was walking around backstage at Raw, and he was like opening the doors, like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah. It's like very funny guy, man. Very unserious guy. It's certain things he does that are not even supposed to be funny. That, just hilarious.
It's just some of his facials sometimes. I'm like, this one's funny, dog. Going along with the lines with this, Devil Kazuya says, "I can't wait for OG Bloodline to get back together." Feels like they're building those bricks to that, ain't they?
Yeah, we're definitely getting there. The segments this week were very good. This is what I was saying last week. Like, there's a reason why there's a sect of fans that loves this Bloodline stuff, and they're just like, just put the belt on Roman. Let's just keep them on top forever, because the storytelling they're doing compared to what other people in the company do different. It's just different, bro. It's just a stark difference, and when it's good and it's not just them doing the repetitive segments, man, they be getting to it, bro.
And look how better it is when Cody was kind of away from them this week, and that stuff seems way more interesting and fresh. But then when they when you guys try to go back to that shit, it's not that great. But when you do new stuff with the Bloodline and new stuff with Cody, it feels refreshing in the direction that people want you to go.
Yes. But I agree on the whole with Tony that SmackDown was just better because it's a Bloodline show. It's where it feels like they're building the main story. Because Cody, as good as the stuff with Cody currently is getting, even that stuff is more interesting than what they're currently doing with Gunther as champion. Like, it just feels like even the stuff with Gunther, it's good because we're waiting for it to play off what Cody's doing.
It's crazy because it feels like the reason that people do want Roman to get the belt back, and the people, they want them to make the emphasis on the Bloodlines, feels like they just like give more time to them. It's like they write the Bloodline stuff and then like, all right, what else do we have to do on the show? And it's like they don't give they give 2 hours for Bloodline stuff and then 10 minutes for the rest of the stuff, and it's you can feel it on camera, you know.
We gotta get the Nia stuff. We gotta do this, and all of that stuff has been good as well. But it definitely, you know what it is. This is the Bloodline.
You know
show.
what it is. Yeah.
Before I get into like any more of this Bloodline stuff, Cody is very funny, and I pointed this out when I've done a SmackDown post show. And have you picked up on this? I don't know if this is absolutely what he's doing, but Cody doing versions of AEW stuff here. It almost also feels like this is like WWE's Codyverse.
Yeah, it does.
Him
it feels
cutting
like
this promo.
Now go ahead.
Him cutting this promo on a foreign heel and using the same lines, some of the same lines that are from that infamous A Go-Go promo, just reworded and used differently. Like, the second he said, I have a little girl at home and I want her to know, I was like, it's the A Go-Go promo. It's bits from the A Go-Go promo.
That's why Cody's the smartest wrestler of all time, because he knows that, like, he's like, they shit on this, but I bet you I can flip it. I bet you the WWE crowd is going to receive it different. I'm
going to workshop this and I'll make it work. But I mean, of course, it's not the same exact promo, but there's bits of it that he was saying. And I just said, this guy is really funny, man. That promo is great, by the way. But yeah, when he said that I want her to know line, I said, no, it's that promo again.
Cody's hilarious.
Yeah, Cody. KO stuff also fantastic. His little segment he had where he was talking to the camera and he was saying, "Nah, you picked him over me."
Mm-hmm.
Tobias Harris over me? Ain't no way in the world you supposed to pick Cody Rhodes over me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know why all of this stuff has been coming back up from around WrestleMania season. Those interview clips of Rollins and the Roman stuff of them feeling away that Cody just came in and he's getting a spot, and they had been working all this time to get to this place. And he just comes in and he shoots right to the top. There are layers of that to what Kevin Owens is saying as well. Like, nah, you're with him,
right?
Nah, we've been here. He got to go away and come back. But yeah, no, the Roman stuff this week was great. I think Roman continuing to, not continuing. Let me rephrase that because I was saying not continuing to do what worked for him as the head of the table and tribal chief stuff, and actually explaining a little bit of what's different now than when he was a heel. Even acknowledging Jimmy, telling Jay he's proud of him, and all these things, like making that clear distinction. Oh yeah, I'm a babyface now. Coming out and even when he tried to show Solo he changed, and Solo immediately caught him in his lie, and he was like, I don't even care about that Ulafala stuff, man. I acknowledge you, man. It's cool. Like, let's just agree to disagree, man. It's fine. And he was
chill.
Like, nah, man. When he hit his tribal chief voice on him, or what else? What did you think about him pulling the Travis record?
Because they keep doing it, Phil. Like, they keep trying to. It feels like they're shoving it down our throat. Like it doesn't feel authentic. That's why. I just
Are you saying that WWE is shoving hip hop music down our throat?
I don't want to say it, but you're forcing me to. Yeah, because it feels like, you know what I mean?
I don't think that they're forcing music down our throat. I do think that they keep giving wrestlers like Roman these things of like, look, man, he's cool with Travis. He has an unreleased Travis record. I don't know if that quite fits with what Roman has been doing for 3 or 4 years. No. And I just think it was funny where he did it and he was like, oh yeah, for sure. And I was like, what is this, man? I don't want to get into. Let me not get myself in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fine line, brother. Fine line. Which I'm saying that's kind of what I'm saying though. It's like it doesn't feel like the people that I believe would be interested in this and the people that I believe would be behind this, they never give it to those people. It's like the top dollar rap thing. It's like when it's an opportunity to give it to somebody that it would mean something, they don't do that. They just give it to Roman. Like Roman and Travis, that didn't make sense.
And I'm not saying this to say that I don't think that Roman listens to hip hop music and they're not into that culture, but it is this continued thing that I see with them all the time where when certain people have a rap gimmick or do things with rap music, then it's done in a joking way.
Yes.
But
you got beer and shanky rap shit.
Yeah. But other people are allowed to do these things and they're done in a way that makes it look cool. And it's just like, I don't know. But I won't dive any deeper into this because we'll end up clipped in on something, and I'll be like,
I liked it. Roman and Travis, that's a great combo, for sure.
Listen, I like Travis. I like Roman too, man. What's the problem?
Big fan, a huge fan. I love the Bloodline. OG. Can't wait for those Jordans to come out, the Bloodline ones.
People really believed that at one point.
Doug. Like, are you guys okay?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, cool. But yeah, I thought the Bloodline and Roman stuff was good. They continue to do a great job of building to this reunion and this War Games match. But big storyline, big news coming from this show. Started on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I opened my phone and I saw the clip of them just on Twitter. I was like, wait, they're putting it here? They're not making it like the surprise on the show? But we got before the so last week we got the tease with Los Garza that they wanted a match this week. And so all this was like, oh, I got an opponent for you. And as they walked away, like, you might not like it. And so I assumed, that's the tease. We're going to have Motor City Machine Guns against Los Garza next week. This week, they were like, oh, well, we're announcing this big championship tournament thing where we're going to do 2 triple threat matches. And then we're going to have the winner of those 2 matches face off next week for a shot at the titles. Cool. In the announcement of that, that's how they introduced Motor City Machine Guns on Twitter, and I was like, oh. I was so confused when I saw it. I was like, wait, is this real? And I was like, all right, it's okay.
That was my first thought. Is this real? That's how they're doing this? This is crazy. But yeah, it was real.
Yeah, I think it worked overall. There are funny things about this. It's hard to imagine them coming out and not having their music we're used to, the music from the TNA and like their most popularized run. I will wait to cast judgment on this music. Yes. It's not terrible, but it's just such a drastic change from what I'm used to with them. And so when they first hit and they're doing the what are they saying? Pump your hands up and the rat-a-tat-tat. I don't know. Okay. But this was a very Motor City Machine Guns match. You put them in there with other flippy guys that they can work with, and of course they're going to do well. Like, no surprise here, this match was very good. The guys that they had in there that they worked, not a big shocker. And Motor City Machine Guns are still very good at tag team wrestling.
Who's surprised? The foundation of what tag team wrestling represents today is built off what they fucking created. So of course they're gonna come in and cook. Like I said, should be on the main rosters of main roster fucking tag team. And all this does make sense. That was just interesting the way that they did it. But they like to use social media and the internet for things like they've dropped news spoilers before the shows on like ESPN and Sports Illustrated. So it makes sense that they did it like this. It was just like, oh, that's interesting. Like everything that's happened with Motor City Machine Guns coming in has been interesting. But then they're such a great tag team, one of the best ever, that when the bell rings, none of that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them getting to this big spot as long as they've been doing this, as long as they've been wrestling. I mean, they debuted as the tag team in like 2006, something like that, 2005, 2006. And for them to be still doing it at a high level like this, years. And to get to, biggest stage in this industry as a tag team, still working together, that's really great. Really happy for them. Do I wish they would have possibly went somewhere else and did other things? For my personal preference, sure. But I can't help but be happy for them and what this means for them. Being on this level, on this stage, and getting to work with other tag teams that are gonna do well with them. Getting eventually, hopefully, the DIY match. War Raiders are back together, of course. Motor City Machine Guns and War Raiders have had matches together in ROH and other places. And the Street Profits, all of the matches you can have with those guys, that's going to be great. And man, hopefully they got the bag.
Yeah, that's kind of the most important thing. Sabin and Shelley have been grinding for years, more than they've been they were single stars before they came together. So like they just been tearing down the independent ranks in TNA for so many years that they deserve to have a big moment. They deserve to get a big contract. Like I want to see them have a WrestleMania match. So like the bright side of this is like those guys are getting their flowers like they deserve.
Yeah, I love that about it. There's certain things that I would have liked to see, but for them and them making a decision for their career, very, very happy for them, man. That reaction to them, by the way, I thought that crowd for SmackDown was great. They were reacting to everything, and the reaction they got, man, that was great. It was just cool to see them, again, just getting used to this music. I was like,
I'm hoping that this forces the tag team division to become something. Like if the Motor City Machine Guns are the ones that are needed to make this into something more, I'm hoping that's what this leads to,
Yeah, I mean, all this said straight away, you were brought in to reinvigorate this tag team division and to, lead to some stuff. Cool. Let's get to it. But yeah, I was, again, it was just jarring. I was just ready for them to hit the Motor City.
Right.
It didn't happen, but that's cool. But yeah, match was good. I thought both of the triple threat matches were good.
Yeah, I'm excited about the tag team division. Excited about the Motor City Machine Guns being there and SmackDown being kind of the catalyst of this new tag division. I think is exciting.
Yeah.
Because historically, SmackDown has always kind of had the better tag team wrestling. I mean, since they've been in existence.
Yeah, for sure. We got more super chats and humper chats. We are gonna slide up out of here.
We don't have any more super chats. But I gotta hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back.
A lot of humper chats. Loading. Loading. Okay,
loading.
We got from Tony P. Tony P. He said the only downside of SmackDown is Death Rebels' crimes against good themes. They need to outsource the Motor City Machine Guns theme. It was great seeing them on WWE TV. So more people can see how awesome they are. Yeah, I mean, didn't we get the report that they're on their way out? Well, he's on his way out, Death Rebel.
Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be.
They're gonna,
or their contract's not going to be renewed or something.
Yeah, we're gonna get a Reddit Reddit of all of the music they put together, like Jimmy Jacobs at one point. And he says, both tag matches gave me hope for the division. I want to see how the loss affects the profits and our DIY going down heel route. I do wish they had the Legado stop fucking losing. I do think they need another tag team or two though. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Los Guards. They're so talented. I wish they would do better with them.
Mm-hmm. I feel like eventually they'll get it, maybe.
Yeah. More from Tony P says, speaking of tag teams, it looks like Lash and Jakara got the soft call-up. I do have some cynical reasons as to why, but they did put in the work, and this is the reward they deserve. Lash had a good match with Piper, showing that bougie baddie strength. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to stay up permanently. I think this is just to lead to a rematch with Jade and Bianca, but I don't think they're going to stay up after that, if I had to guess.
I wouldn't think so. They need more time in NXT, both of them.
Yeah, I agree. More from Tony P says, so Jay about to lose that belt, fellas, eh? They are so gonna screw that man. I wonder how they're doing. They're going to rope Sammy into this, though. Will it be Roman saying sorry or Jay taking his time into joining? Also, why is Credit Boys in this KO Randy Cody mess? Yeah, I don't know. I could see Jay losing next week, but I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're done with Braun as champion for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Braun's going to be the new champion. I feel like they wanted to give Jay a moment, give the people that moment, but I feel like it's Braun's back.
Come on, don't make a fool out of me after I said I was wrong, and then I gave you all of these props, and then you're just going to take the belt off of him next week. Like, come on, man, don't make me look stupid.
I mean, because he doesn't need the belt and the bloodline stuff, you know?
He doesn't, but you don't need to take the belt off of him this soon.
No.
Tony P says, it's for sure leading to a three-way with the same point, which I would like to see as much as I want to see Cody Gunt. Two things I gotta say: Cody's promo was knotted last night. It had some vibes to it that are familiar, and I'm almost done with this reign because it's always gonna lead back to the bloodline. No, I think the reign is doing good. I think what he's currently doing with Kevin Owens, it seems like that's probably going to be the Survivor Series match, him versus Kevin Owens. All this time, I've been assuming maybe he was going to get roped into this War Games match, but I don't think so. I think it's going to end up being a 4v4, and Cody's not going to be in it.
Yeah, I don't think this is maybe not leading to that. Like, I think that they're going to just continue having Cody over there. I feel like Roman probably is going to beat him in the long run, but that's another story for another day.
No, I think if anything, the way you're going to get back to possible bloodline stuff with Cody is The Rock, and I'm not sure if The Rock match is the end goal here. So we'll see.
Right.
Tony P says Naomi is still losing in weird ways. What is the plan for her? It seems just she's losing for no reason. If it is a slow heel turn, stop and just turn her faster. If this is for her and Bayley to go for the tag titles, just make more sense. Yeah, give her a title match. She's pinned a champion now. Like, what's going on?
I think we like Naomi more than the company likes Naomi. I don't know if we want to all admit that.
I've admitted that a long time ago.
Wow,
that's not news to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was news that I knew that before she left and came back.
Yep. Like, nobody wants to admit that, though. They're going to keep being like, why aren't they pushing Naomi? I don't think they ever will. I don't think they like Naomi as much as they should.
Yeah, I don't think they appreciate her as much as they should either. Let's see, more from Tony P says the bloodline stuff is good, but it's going boring. It's been 5 years of this. Make it stop. Also, they made Roman look dumb again. Done on the main front. Oh, before I go, in NXT, it was just me, or did they shit on Speed title last night? I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. All of these words you're saying, Speed, NXT, what is this?
What are these words?
What is this stuff you're talking about? No, I think the Roman stuff was good, and I don't think it made him look dumb. I think that he tried to outsmart Solo by acting like, nah, like he tried to do the duck season, rabbit season on him.
Right.
I don't even care about that Ulafala, man. You go ahead and have it for now, man. It's cool. I'll come back and
It's
get it from you
yours.
later.
You got it.
You got it, man. I'm trying to get like you. Like, yeah, it just didn't work at all. He tried to outsmart him, and he's trying to do all of this stuff instead of admitting he needs help. That's the point of all of this. It's not so much that it's making him look stupid. It's showing that he's stubborn, and he thinks that he can come in and just steal Big Bro Solo. No, you can't.
You can't do that.
Nah, he's fully in his Bishop. Not mixing up my Tupacs. He's fully in his Tupac and Above the Rim. Like, man, you ain't the man no more around here. It's me. I'm the one.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, Birdie. I mixed Birdie. Shame. Mixing Birdie up with Bishop. Two different Tupac characters.
Both B's, though.
Yeah, both B's. Tony P says, NXT has a star issue with singles male talent. Tony P says NXT has a star issue with single male talent. It says a lot when their stars are Oba, Page, West, Tony, and Evans are the only infused with each other. Other than Oba, they all could be called up, work on the main roster given their experience. Yeah, I thought that was clear as day when they brought Ethan in and immediately made him champion. It just shows that they don't have a lot of other people that are ready to take that spot.
And look, he's getting a title match again.
Yeah. Tony says, on the flip side, the gap in the women after Roxanne and new batch of ladies is just experience, hence why they are being sent to TNA. The last 3 weeks just made it extra obvious to me and worried it can expose NXT in a negative way later. Now, I think that's mostly just like the world title picture. It's funny because they're currently having a similar issue to the company that they're partnering with, where the Knockouts division and the X division and all this other stuff around it is more fire than actual world title picture, where they'll have somebody that is hot at the moment, but they don't have a collective to make up a great world title picture. And that's kind of the issue with NXT, because like the women's stuff is great. The
tag team stuff is great.
Tag stuff is great. They're doing other things that's working, but it doesn't feel like enough of the male stars that they have are ready to make that jump to the world title. Like, I think Oba can be ready, but I don't think they have enough guys to say that they have a like solid world title picture right now.
Right. I think the issue with NXT is it could be that the North American Championship is they try to put too much prestige on it, and it could take away from the world title.
I don't think that's the issue. I think they just don't have enough guys. They don't have enough guys. Like in Black and Gold NXT, you always kind of knew who the next step was going to be. They had their streamlined factory setting set. Like when this person's time is up, you know it's going to be this guy. Like this person's next up. This person's next up. And if you don't know that this person's next up, you already know this person or this person can be ready. They currently don't have that with the world.
They don't have any no next up people. Yeah,
they have that with the women, but it doesn't feel like they have that same level of talent coming in and are immediately ready to be world champion.
Right.
Like you could take that belt off Roxanne in a few weeks, and you have Julia, you have Stephanie, you have Delta coming in. You have so many options. You don't have as many options like that with the men at the moment. And that's not to say that you won't eventually have options. You just don't have them at the moment.
Right.
See more from Phony T says Oh, New Japan. That's what he means. I was trying to figure out what NJ means. New Japan seems to be finding their flow again, and the old guard leaving and retiring. I'm happy for Zack Sabre Jr. Feel bad for Shota. I really hope he can find himself in all of this. I also hope some of the juniors will be pushed to heavyweight as well. Yeah, look, man, wrestling, the great thing about wrestling is you can always turn these things around. Like, think of how many wrestlers were getting booed at one point in their career, and then they turned out to be massive stars. That's The Rock's entire origin story. That's Naito's whole origin story. I don't think that this is gloom and doom for Shota just yet. I think people want to like Shota. I just think he needs a refresh.
Some wrestlers need this. Like they get to this point of the company wants to push them. They're telling you that they're these people, but they need that like adversity to go against. I think Shota needs this to be like, because you can't get comfortable, and like them kind of having faith in you and putting you in these big positions can make you comfortable. And I think he's going to be real uncomfortable when people are not accepting of his stuff.
Yep. The last one from Tony P says, I missed this one. I would have put Brian as petty a week for playing with our emotions because, he booked that finish. I had fun doing it, was laughing about it at the end of the show. But Swagger Jacker, Yuta won out. LOL. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate you, Tony.
Appreciate you, Tony. That's amazing, man. You're cool.
From D-Lo Diggs, he says, NBA season right around the corner. I still don't know how I feel about Clay with my Mavs yet after seeing a few preseason games, but I got faith and Batista ready for the pits of danger, one love, peace, and hair grease.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy Clay's playing with y'all now, if I'm keeping it real.
Yeah, he did not look good. It seemed like he kind of got hurt in that game. I hope he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know about Mavs at the moment. They might be all right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my team did win in London, man. Bears is looking pretty good, man. We're playing a lot of bad teams, but I was so close to tweeting that I have never, ever added Tony Khan ever. I was very close to this weekend tagging him and going, hey, man, how about them Jaguars, huh? Hey, man, it's room over here. You come to Chicago enough, just be a Chicago fan, man. It's cool. I know where you work.
In Chicago pretty often.
I know where you work. It's cool though. You get, another Chicago sports news. That Jay Cutler thing is absolutely nuts.
What happened?
He got pulled. He got arrested. Jay Cutler rear-ended someone and got arrested for a DUI. And he's also got a firearms charge on it because he had a handgun and a rifle in the car with him.
Yeah, the Yami in the car and a rifle? Yeesh. Why he got it on him? Because he's in Chicago still?
I don't know where he was at, but I was like, where you going?
Where are you going?
From Wonga, good day, Grapsody, fellas. It's Zack Sabre Jr. time. Absolutely. From Delayed Graps, the Mox story is written by RJ City, like he did the Tony Storm storyline. TK is not the only booker, never was. We know Jenny Pepperman, Will Washington, Danielson, and others are involved. AEW Dynamite was packed and fast-paced, and everything is hitting. I don't know if I would phrase it that way. Tony is still the only booker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those people aren't bookers; they're writers, and the main thing goes through Tony Khan. This is Tony Khan's business.
Those people help with creative, and they write stories and probably help put together the backstage segments, write dialogue and stuff. But there is one booker, there's one person that approves everything at the top, and that is Tony Khan. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but they definitely have creative people helping aside. A lot of them doing amazing work. But like Tony Khan makes the final say.
Tony is the head booker. This whole idea that there was never just one booker. No, there was always just one booker. Regardless if other people had input, he's still main booker.
Right.
From Van Twinblade, I believe this is our last Humper Chat. Y'all see the Rama reboot on Netflix. Also check out Dan Dan Dan, it's an anime of anime of the season, right next to Blue Box, sports romance anime about a girl that plays basketball and a boy that plays badminton. The action scenes are wild. I haven't seen any of these anime. I have just started this Dragon Ball rewatch, so I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball. I watched the Dragon Ball show that just premiered. I haven't seen a new episode yet. Dragon Ball Daima, or whatever you pronounce it. And My Hero Academia is going away, and the final season is coming up soon. Every episode of this season of My Hero Academia has made me cry, which makes me feel like I am just getting old and sentimental about everything. But I feel like every episode there's something that happens where it's just like, oh my god, like this is so emotional.
I don't like that. I don't like getting old. I'll be watching sitcoms and I'm like, this is so emotional and touching. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be having tears laughing. This is crazy.
Yeah, but
getting older is weird.
And I'm also not thrilled about My Hero Academia going away. Like the final season is going to come out eventually, and then there'll be no more. But yeah, A-Shock, all of the Dobby stuff, it got me. I was like, oh, man. But also, All Might is the GOAT. Last episode, it's fantastic. If you're not watching My Hero Academia, I don't know why you're not watching. That is all of our Humper Chats, I believe. Don't have any more
all of our super chats. No, they're all gone.
Appreciate you guys as always. Again, thanks for hanging in here with our technical difficulties. For a knock out of here, shout out to Tony Storm, number 1 on the women's PWI 250. Well deserved. I think at this point, undeniably the best AEW Women's World Champion. That reign and what that did for her storyline and everything coming out of it, fantastic for her. Also, shout out to Jordan, who came in second. Great year for Jordan Grace. The only thing I really disagree with on the list was that Roxanne wasn't in the top 10. I think she deserved to be in the top 10, given what she's done with NXT.
Yeah, congrats to Tony Storm. Congrats to all the ladies on the list. This is the one PWI list that I do not work on, so stay out of my DMs.
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying all. Hey, Reg, I don't agree with none of this. You put this list together. This was you.
Not for you, for the rest of them.
Nah, but no. Shout out to all of the women that made the list. Yeah, and extra shout outs. I had to see Tony Storm being happy about it on Instagram because she will not come back to Twitter because you people are heathens.
That's a fact.
But this has been Grapsody. It's been an experience, but we're all finished and done. Tune in next week.
Yeah.
Weeks after that, it's been episode 158. We're out of here.
We out.